you guys are. Everything's recording. We're good. Rue's here.
Unclicked podcast with Devon Smillie. Cheers, brother.
Cheers. Thank you for coming.
Welcome.
I feel like this is
easy.
I feel like it's been a long time since we just had a normal guest with Dennis here.
Nice.
So, thank you for doing the drive down.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
I was lucky that it was a straight shot for the most part. The whole time leading up, I was like, I'm going to leave early because it's probably going to be like 2 hours. I was worried about that little stretch of the 5 at Pendleton?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that spot, like, especially going south later in the afternoon.
Are you still in HB?
San Clemente.
San Clemente.
So-
You're not far at all then. That
mean,
makes so
still an
much more
hour,
sense
but-
why I always see you ride to Encinitas Park then.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the downside to San Clemente is it's like I have Poods, probably that's like the closest park to me or easiest one to get to. That's probably like on the better side of parks,
Yeah.
or go north to like Volcom or Tustin Park even. But we have San Clemente Park, but it's like, I mean,
It's like the equivalent of, it's like a really bad OB.
Mhm.
yeah, no, like way worse.
And there's a lot of people that think OB is bad.
Like,
so it's like, it's
I've
not good.
Ridden there twice in the 4 years I've been in San Clemente.
It's just not your style either.
It's like a
I
20,
really-
but
I
it's
can
like
see some people
it's an
like it.
early California park. It's like a
Yeah.
25-year-old skate
like
park.
the
you
spine
know?
ramp there is fun. It's like a little 4-foot
Yeah.
spine, but other than that, like everything's kind of got weird transitions, and the street stuff is like almost too small to even ride. So
Dennis,
weird
you
mix.
owe us a chug, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
My stomach's been messed up, and I was thinking if I was going to do it, but I think it's good enough now.
Say what?
I got to chug one of these every episode.
And we got a new
I have 28 more
We got a
after
new white
this.
one, light beer.
Yeah, shout out
Yeah.
to Dale's, our
Yeah.
sponsor.
Are you chugging one now?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
want to chug one?
Sure, why not?
All right.
I'm gonna go slow with it, but
Yeah, shout out to Dale's, our sponsor. Chug number 65. I have no idea.
Started at 50. I'm at 20
Yeah.
after this. So whatever.
So I was thinking, how do we
Crispy.
start this podcast? Do we start at current affairs or do we start like oh geez.
excuse me.
do we start
sip and burp and
right?
It's a good thing to listen to.
That's good for podcasting, I think.
Sorry, I'm not crying.
You're crying.
You can't drink a beer or chug a beer and not belch.
That
It's just
is
not
mandatory.
All right.
Yeah.
28 more.
28.
Yeah,
Current
Devin.
affairs? I mean, I feel
mean-
like current affairs. You got that beanie on. I feel like that's a major
New
change.
sponsor,
Yeah.
new video part,
New favorite
married.
Yeah.
San Clemente's pretty interesting too. We were just already talking about that, how you are in the middle of two crazy big scenes, but there's like no other pro riders in San Clemente.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of an odd spot for sure, and I'm definitely like, secluded from everything going on, but it
But
forces,
you're not though. You're right in the middle.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a good central location to kind of just be able to dart out whichever direction really and find something or someone to ride with. But it's also like a nice place to go home to, and it forces me to get out and about more often. So
What brought you there though? Because there's definitely not a big professional riding scene in San Clemente.
it was kind of random how it happened. So Haley owns a salon in Dana Point.
Your new
And
wife.
Yeah, that's her.
Congrats.
We've been together for like 7 years now.
Nice.
Um,
Congrats.
Thank you. But so she's pretty much has no plans of leaving Dana Point, and she's been there her whole life.
Okay. So that's
and
her.
with
hood.
work being there, we had like a situation that was too good to be true, where we were able to rent a house in Huntington. It was like a 4-bedroom house, and it was like Ethan's mom's old house. So we all moved in there. It was like me, Ethan, Julian, and Chris Island. And shoot, I think the rent was like $2,000 for it. And Haley and I split $800 for like master, and we had our
one
own
of those.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was too good to pass up. And lived there for a year, and she pretty much was like, doing the route back and forth for work all week, and it wasn't too bad in the morning, but then she'd get like right to the Euclid or Ellis exit, I don't really remember, but she would pretty much get all the way close to being home and then sit in traffic every single afternoon for about like an extra 45 minutes. So it's
Yep.
taking her like an hour and a half just to get home. And she's already stressed out after
Yeah,
like being
yeah.
behind a chair all day.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, I don't have to be anywhere in particular. So, I'm fine with moving down. And her mom actually had an apartment. She bought a home a few years ago, and she was like running out of lease in an apartment in San Clemente. So we hopped in there, cheap rent for like 3 months. And after the 3 months, we were like, we love this area. We want to stay here. So we started searching for apartments, and yeah, a little over 4 years now. I think it's been
Cool.
there.
Have you heard the nuclear warning siren go off yet?
I don't think so.
No,
I do hear
they have
like
that-
a
they
lot
have
of bangs and stuff all the time.
Oh yeah, from Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
That's
it'll
pretty
shake
crazy.
it.
A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know that.
It's
It's like,
pretty nuts.
yeah.
Yeah, I used to live in Oceanside, and the whole it was a house on stilts, and it would literally rock the house
From
Like,
the Camp Pendleton.
from
In
from
Oceanside?
their artillery like that they were shooting at Camp Pendleton.
That's crazy.
But then San Clemente they have the boobs,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and so they have a nuclear siren test that they do like once or twice a year. Or
I have
something.
not heard
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty funny.
I've
That shit's crazy.
That
Yeah.
would terrify me.
Yeah,
especially,
they
like,
try
never
and they
hearing
try
it
to have
before.
the signs everywhere. They're like, we are testing it. Don't freak out, like that type of thing.
Dude,
for like
that
a month
reminds me.
leading
Like
up. So
I remember being on a trip in Hawaii. It was
it's like Godzilla coming.
do you remember? Did you ever hear about like the warning for the missile that was incoming or whatever?
Oh, that went out, right? It went like that. It got sent to iPhones or something. Like
Yeah,
that? Yeah.
We were in Hawaii, and basically we got like warnings on our phone, like Amber Alert type of thing.
Yeah.
And it was like warning, like missile incoming, blah blah blah. We're like,
Yeah.
we're just sitting on a beach, like in North Shore, like, all right, like this could be it. I'm
Did
fine
you-
with it.
That was probably so scary.
It was kind of nuts.
Because it didn't
but-
tell you if it was like a nuclear bomb or a little bomb. But regardless, it's a bomb coming.
What about X Games Japan this year? The earthquake warning on your phone.
Oh, I don't even know if we got. See, I don't. When I go to Japan and stuff, I'm on like airplane mode. I don't use my phone.
dude, it sent you. There was an earthquake. And
We
I guess
woke
it's
up.
like
I was like
yeah,
seventh floor, and Haley and I woke up, and the whole building shaking. And we're
yeah,
like,
but like
oh word.
a minute beforehand, your phone was like earthquake,
you know.
earthquake incoming,
Yeah.
and you're like, what? Like I didn't know that was technology was possible. Didn't know you could predict them like that.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
it was like gave you a minute warning, and it was like, holy shit, yeah, this place is fucking.
What did that minute make you do? You're like, what did they tell me in school to do with the earthquake? Oh, here
Well,
it is.
I mean,
already.
I know. I mean, knowing here, I know. Like you get in
Stand
the
in the
door,
door?
you get in the doorway. That's
you do that?
that's. I think we started moving towards that. Yeah,
You
but I
didn't
was
even
like
get there.
confused. I was so confused.
You're in, like, a high
It was
rise,
3
yeah.
in the morning too. It was
Yeah.
like in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
What did you-
Felix said it messed him up. He was like, dude,
Gave him
that
a
was.
trauma.
Kinda tripping
Yeah,
out.
he was like, what the fuck is this?
Hell yeah, that's so
Yeah.
scary.
So-
What
Yeah.
about being on the beach and what'd you guys do the whole time you thought it could be a nuke coming in?
I don't.
That would be the scariest shit ever. The earthquake's like, okay.
You just get that, pull up that chair, put the lime in the Corona.
Yeah, honestly,
be like, well,
like,
Take 2 more Mai Tais
Yeah.
right now.
it's like hard to
the lime in
even
the
believe
Dales.
if it's
The
real.
lime in the Dales.
Mai Tai Dales.
Yeah, the loggers.
We're,
the
we're,
red
we're
loggers.
talking to Dales about making a Mai Tai.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly was like, I didn't know if it was like a hoax or what, but I was completely content with where I was at that time. So I was like,
That's
all right,
cool.
if I'm on the beach right now, like,
Hell
because
yeah.
we were like, at the time, it was a weed map trip and we were staying in a mansion on Pipeline. You're just
Oh,
like
God.
hanging out. in
You're like, well,
paradise.
this is it.
Yeah,
This is as good as
exactly.
it gets.
Like,
yeah.
Well, we
that
can
was
just
the place to be.
roll straight into that. How long did that Weed Maps deal last?
A year. I got
year.
in there right. I like squeezed that last little year.
Yeah, that was an interesting time, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. Interesting time for everything. For like, because I was in a really good spot, like sponsor wise and everything, and worked out that deal with Weed Maps. But mentally, I wasn't where I wanted to be, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. So
Yeah.
it was kind of weird. Like, I felt like I had all this stuff going for me during that whole year, but looking back on it, it's like I feel like I almost didn't deserve it. It's kind of weird.
Huh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do
What-
you mean? You just like, you felt like things were coming at you, but you weren't. What do you mean by that? Because looking on the outside, it's
I
like, this
don't-
fool deserves all this.
I
you know?
don't think that like I was putting the work in pretty much.
Huh.
If that make like, I just
Even in the moment or looking back?
I just wasn't like happy
Yeah.
pretty much. So
Okay.
like I wasn't
With
very,
your riding? Like, you just weren't,
in
like-
general. Like I was going through it mentally. Like I was kind of in a weird spot. So like I wasn't motivated to get out of the house and go out riding and filming and stuff. And like what compared to now, like I don't know, hitting 30, I'm like more motivated than ever. And I just want to like go ride and have fun, like no matter what I have even from it. So
Yeah.
just two different kind of, it's just weird thinking like how much stuff you have when you don't think you deserve it versus like working really hard and just doing it for the fun and for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's when you have,
Interesting.
you feel
From
like
an outsider looking in, it looked like you were doing it, you know? Like,
Yeah. I
It
mean,
didn't look like you were not doing what you should
I
have.
definitely was like riding and out and being productive, but it was kind of more at that time. It was kind of more like I had to, so.
Was it maybe like obligations, like being forced to do it, or it just didn't feel like? I'm kind of trying to catch the.
I guess it kind of.
Maybe it's something like where you feel like, oh, like I have all this stuff, but it's like not fulfilling or something. Is that what it is?
No, it wasn't really like. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Yeah. I think like. I was just like, I was pretty much like depressed during that whole time.
Okay.
Really?
So
it was like way more than just riding.
Yeah, it was definitely way more than riding.
Yeah.
Like
you always seem like such a happy guy. It's crazy to know like
it's, it's not something that you want to just like put out there entirely, but like I'm completely open with talking to people about it. Where are you going?
Oh, yeah. What are you trying to get? That's Vic.
Never seen you climb the wall before.
She's on a new one. Yeah, that's crazy. Has that been a does it go in waves? Like, is that something from your childhood, or is that like the first time that you were in it and you realized it? Or what year is this? Sorry, for 2019. Like, I mean, is it 2018, 2019?
2019.
Okay.
And that was around the time where I was living at that house in Huntington too.
Okay.
So I was just kind of like mentally all over the place, and you're living in a house with a bunch of guys, and we're drinking every night, and blah blah blah. So it was like. Weird phase, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm happy I made it out of it. And especially with the help of Haley, like she definitely got my head back in the right space and back on track to where it got me to where I am now. And I am completely stable and happy.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
did you feel like maybe just partying a little too much, living in a BMX house? And
pretty much, yeah.
That happens.
Yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't change anything at all. Like, I feel like it all happened for a reason. But it was definitely rough.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Well, I guess
not crazy in a bad way, but I just never knew that about you.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool that you're open about it. And
I mean, I'm sure like I don't like want people to have this experience, but I'm sure a lot of people go through similar experiences, and it's like you learn a lot from it. You come out stronger in the end. So
yeah,
it's a good lesson to anyone who's in a slump or whatever, that just keep going.
Yeah. There was a moment where I was like, I almost thought I would never feel normal. It was crazy.
How long did this phase last?
It was probably like a year.
Oh, wow.
So like, I don't know, like the last 6 months of living in the house to 6 months after being out of the house. And because then you're like moving out of a house with your friends to like going somewhere where you're like not really familiar with. So it was like a whole nother, just trying to adapt to a new situation.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
It's really good for people to know that, though, on the outside, because they would think you're on weed maps, you're getting sent to the North Shore, you're going on all these riding trips. Life must be perfect, but there's still so much more. You get thrown into the California lifestyle, straight to partying, and making money.
It's like Instagram versus reality type of thing. Like no one puts themselves out there like that, really. It's like you never know what someone's going through. So like, even if I see someone in traffic like freaking out, road raging, or like driving crazy or something, it's like, all right, like. Don't get mad at them. You don't know what they got going on. You never know anyone else
could have happened to them that morning. Could have lost their job or whatever.
For sure.
So leave them alone.
Yeah. Wow. So the weed map thing lasted for a year. Obviously, it wasn't a great year when I bring it up. Well, but like the deal itself had to be like, when stuff like that pops up, you have to be like, well, this isn't going to last forever. Or I mean, like,
I took it and ran with it for sure. Yeah. But I mean, it wasn't like anything I did why it all ended. It was just like, I think there was a whole situation like Gavin Newsom like sent him a cease and desist or whatever.
Yeah.
Or they were pretty much like, you're advertising for all these illegal dispensaries. Like you have to cut back on all of that, which ended up, I think it was something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
there was a new like.
It's like still federally illegal. Yeah. So it's like it can go. Like,
so did the whole company go under?
No, they just
lost
it was basically like it was like DoorDash for weed.
I know.
And then and then they just couldn't really do it like that.
Yeah, I remember the whole their whole marketing went away. Like all the athletes, besides a couple, maybe.
It's so funny too, because like my neighbor had the newspaper. He's like, look at this thing happening with weed maps. Like. They're firing a whole bunch of people. I'm like, oh, that sucks for them, you know? And then like a couple months later,
like employees and stuff.
A couple months later, like I'm like emailing people and they're like, oh yeah, the whole action sports side of things got canned. And we're like, all right, sick. That's cool.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Well, at its peak, were they just like, you could just go places and just get bags of fucking weed, or what was the deal? I don't understand.
Too,
I don't like because I never got to go on one of those trips. Like they did the Baja thing and then they did all this stuff.
Bunch of cool shit.
Like,
yeah. It was fun to watch.
There are definitely cool I think stuff. The only two things I got to do that year was like go to Hawaii, which was amazing, and then they took us to like pop us some beer or something.
Yeah.
And like I think I wasn't really like smoking weed at that time. Around this time is when I like slowed down heavily. I just like I don't know. I didn't.
Rue.
I was just over it, you know. Like I went through. I had my years or whatever of smoking, and then I started to appreciate just feeling level-headed and sober. It was I don't know, different kind of energy.
Yeah.
So it was like half of the time I rode the whenever I was riding for him, like I was ordering. You could order, I think, like an ounce or whatever a month and just hit up a dispensary and they organize it and they just drop it off at your door. Like, so I was getting all sorts of like pens and wax and all sorts of stuff that I didn't even use. I still have a box under my bed of weed from years ago. And it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like,
I'm sure people are going to be hitting you up.
Yeah.
Listen,
it's not that
Devon,
much.
It's not,
no, it's more like collector's items or I don't know, souvenirs from that time, whatever, you know.
That's cool. So it was a paycheck, some cool trips, and that you could go do this weed thing.
Pretty much. Weed. Yeah. But it's kind of funny.
What did your parents think?
They were down for it. Well, not like down for me smoking weed or anything. Yeah. I mean,
because Weed Maps was sponsoring like high-end athletes too. Like
because they have Nick Bruce. They had like Nick Bruce. Nick Bruce was like the one that made it through all the cuts. Like he was still. I think he had like a longer deal.
They'd have like stoners, then people that you're like, I'm not even sure if they're a stoner. Then people you're like, I know that's not a stoner.
Yeah.
So they did a good job of like. These aren't just
because it was the CBD side.
Kind of the reason why I was like fully down wasn't even for like the smoking side of things. It was around the time where I was like learning about medicinal side of things.
Yeah.
And then even with like certain kind of cancers and things, like I started hearing a lot of research about that. And then my parents kind of got all into it. And once they realized how beneficial it could be for certain things, like they were like, yeah, we totally support the cannabis industry pretty much. So I was like, all right, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that's definitely what Weed Maps was. It wasn't just like SRH or something.
Yeah.
It was, they were trying.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like the culture of it, but the Hawaii trip and stuff like that
just
definitely seemed like the culture of it.
That one was like, you get off the plane, they hand everyone bags of weed, and you're like, all right, go live it up.
It was definitely the stoner thing, but it also like they did a good job of being like, it's like, for athletes too, and helping people with their problems, CBD and blah blah.
Yeah. Like even like one day of the trips, they gave us like IV. They had like a doctor come in, and we all were like doing the IV thing, whatever. Like
the fluid injection stuff.
It was weird.
Yeah,
it's definitely different, but it was cool.
Yeah, interesting phase.
Yeah,
something you'll look back on. Was the weed aspect, was that affecting kind of mental health, you think, or was it like
probably
like at your peak? How much were you smoking?
Shit,
too much.
Yeah, too much. Like sun up to sundown kind of thing. I don't really have a count to like how much, but it was just kind of like. Smoking. You know, wake up, have a coffee, roll a spliff, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, nothing that isn't like crazy and people, you know, manage to do it all the time. But I've actually dealt with like previous kind of head injuries and stuff. So I've like kind of, I've been through the whole process of that 2 times already.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely played into how my head was feeling for sure. Yeah. And then like I smoked a lot growing up to where like it became a habit as well. And then toward the years of phasing out of it, it was pretty much like smoke because of habit and then wish I wasn't high. Like it was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't want to, but it was just, you know, ritual kind of thing.
Yeah. Hard to break from at a point, you know? So, it seems like a common theme. Like I was talking to Brownie Man, Billy, and it's like, he's a lifetime weed smoker. And he's like, I don't smoke anymore. You know, and it's so crazy to hear that somebody say that. And they're like, yeah, now I know what I feel like not smoking weed at this age. And
I think like the friends and family, you just think when they just smoke all the time, you never think they're going to stop. And then they do one day and you're like, you stopped? Like,
yeah.
How do you feel?
Yeah.
It was weird.
It's interesting.
It never really like, benefited me as a person because I'm one of those people, like I'm an observer. I'm like sometimes not very social and I get in my head a lot, and that just like intensifies all of that. So if I'm smoking, I'm, you know, paranoid and like freaking out. But when it came down to like riding and stuff, if I'm in my zone, then it was like a whole different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I started like phasing out, I pretty much was like hitting a pen at night just to go to bed, and then slow down for a couple weeks where I didn't smoke at all. And then I tried to smoke a spliff and had the craziest anxiety attack of my life. And it was like, that was the end of it for me. I felt like I never want to do this again. I have no reason to. And like, not saying I never will or I haven't since then, but it's like, there's times for it whenever I'm feeling like I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know, but
crazy.
No, I'm not dependent on it anymore. That's like one of the main things that I'm proud of.
Skateboarding?
Yeah.
It's a good topic with you.
Skateboarding is fun.
You let that cat out. Sorry, it's just being knocking beers over.
Aside from being one of the best BMX riders of our generation, I think that you might hold the title as the best BMX rider and skateboarder.
I would argue that.
Who do you think's got it?
Shit.
There's another guy on Colt, Dylan who is like maybe you, but the other way. But not even though, because you've been skating your whole life and he's gotten good at BMX really fast.
He was actually really good at riding trails before he started doing street stuff.
I know, but when I met him, he'd only been riding trails for like a year, and that wasn't that long.
Well, he learned that really fast.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's why
I think he wrote when he was a kid. Yeah, when I read that Thrasher interview, and he said he wrote when he was a kid.
When I met him, he was like, I just started. But maybe he meant he just started.
Street,
I mean, I think after
it was at the 420 trails, and he was ripping them, and I thought he was a bike rider, and then I started.
He was hitting those jumps.
This was before COVID too, so he just started riding, or like right before COVID. So
he got a lot of bike control.
He's a trail rider. Yeah,
he's super good.
So who do you think though? Would it be him, or is there other guys out there that I'm not thinking of?
I don't really know.
Garrett.
When I just think in my head, I think Garrett. Yeah, but
dude, Garrett's really good. But you got to see this guy.
Garrett's on the skateboard. Got a lot of
hell, Devon.
Garrett's really
he skates Pat's ramp and like jumps a box and drops him from the sub boxes.
That's true.
It's crazy.
I saw that.
And he doesn't even post it. Like you post some stuff here and there.
Saw something about
that. I honestly crazy. Don't even skate.
I remember skating the mini ramp at Xavier's house during the Real Street thing, the first one ever, and I was like,
I think it was not a mini ramp. That was like a
it's like a 9-foot vert ramp, like a mini vert ramp. Like, and he was
9 foot.
Where's some skate footage? Is there skate footage anywhere on the internet?
There was like this dance video that I shot with, I think, Stu back in the day. I got a Sponsor Me tape when I was 9.
What's up? Because weren't you more into skating and then you hurt your knee? What's the story with it? And then you picked up a bike more, or were you doing both of them? Because you're way too good at skating. Like you put work in.
I think at a younger age, I was just super into skating, and like I always rode BMX. I raced and rode freestyle growing up, but when I was like 8 or 9, I was trying to ride skate parks on a 20-inch. I never had a 16, 12, 18, and whatever. So I was always on a 20-inch, and a bike always felt too big. It was massive, you know? Mm-hmm. So skating was just way more comfortable. Like you had way smaller boards that you could adapt to. And I feel like even being smaller, the center of gravity, like I was like skating vert ramps, and I go to drop it on a vert ramp now, I feel like if I hit the ground, I'm done, you know?
On a skateboard?
Yeah. Like from then compared to now, for sure. But yeah, it just felt a lot easier and came more naturally to me in a way.
I'm going to turn the audio off.
Once I grew up and started kind of like hitting puberty and stuff, I like started to grow into the bike a bit more. And then it kind of, I don't know, everything like flourished from there in a way.
So you just always did both?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
The skate escape. Is that what it said?
The ultimate days.
Yeah.
It says freaking Osiris.
So many BMXers
I feel like
good at skateboarding.
Well, see, I think the difference is like when I see Garrett skate, I see him doing the stuff, but he still looks like a BMXer to me. You know, when I feel like when I see a skate clip of you, it just looks like you just do that all the time. You know, does that make sense?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Like,
not in any dig towards Garrett, but
like Garrett's super good at like technical flip tricks, manual stuff. He even like on his grind box, like you see him post the clips, he'll do like, what do you do, like 180 fakie or backside flip fakie manual on his freaking little manual pad and stuff. Like that stuff's crazy. I don't know if I could do that, but like I grew up skating transition, and I feel like almost the same way with bikes. Like if you grew up riding transition, you're gonna have so much more bike control as you transition to street.
Yeah.
It's like same thing with skating. Like you just kind of gain so much more comfortability on a board, being able to flow around and kind of, I don't know. That's just theory.
That makes sense.
Do you still take the board with you? Like, is it like in the car all the time?
Yeah, board's in the truck all the time for sure. Yeah. But I don't bring it on trips anymore or anything. I'm like in the back of my head, I don't skate as much as I used to, or as much as I'd even like to where it's not a priority.
Yeah.
I just do it if I like just trying to have fun. And I know like the little amount I skate now, I know my comfortability is way lower. So like I don't like hopping on and being overconfident at all. So
what about moto? How did that come in? Where
parents actually race motocross. That's like they met racing motocross. They like crashed into each other in a quarter because my mom.
That's adorable.
My mom raced professional women's motocross like late 80s.
Oh shit!
Wow. So when she raced like I think like local races and stuff, she was racing men's classes. So that's how my parents met.
Oh wow! Okay, and your mom is a fucking boss.
Yeah,
all right,
she's sick.
Hell yeah, that's amazing.
But so yeah, I'm like 2 years old watching like Crusty Demons and Steel Roots and all sorts of different motocross videos. So that's what I was raised on, and kind of got me into two wheels at a young age. And
so was motocross technically first then?
Nah, BMX racing was first.
Okay.
I did have like a PW50 at like 3 years. 4 or something like that. I remember I did go to one race. I had a KTM 50, I think, when I was 5. Like, all right, so let me backtrack a little bit. First BMX race was 3 years old. First motocross race was 5 years old.
Okay.
And then I went the wrong way on the track at some point and pretty much never did that again. But later on in the years,
never raced again.
I ended up racing again, but it was like 7 years later. I think when I was like 12, I got like an 85 or something. And let me think, was it
going around the wrong way? Was like, all right, I gotta chill.
Yeah, I mean, I was so young. I didn't know what
that's
I was
crazy.
doing,
I didn't know you started all this.
I think it was like rode
you were a baby
speedway or something. But yeah, I just liked riding. It was fun. But I always like rode dirt bikes and stuff. But then we had friends from a church that I grew up going to where the youth pastor rode and had a son that rode as well. So they would go to races and stuff. So I started going to races with them and getting sketchy and then figuring out what I'm doing wrong, and started learning to do starts. And then I kind of like that went on like at least 4 or 5 years where I was like getting into racing pretty heavily and racing like local Knights C-class races at this one track that we had close to us. And that lasted until I like woke up in the back of an ambulance and kind of freaked myself out.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So kind of chilled out on that.
Did you go the wrong way again?
In the air, yeah. I came out of a 180 corner, and it was night, and the track was all watered down. And I came out of this corner, and there's a jump, like a lip immediately out of the corner. And the jump had no grooves or anything on the lip. So a bit, if you can imagine, just like inside corner rut, and you're just throttling up the lip, back end spins out 90 in the air, and just like didn't jump off or anything, and hit my head and separated my shoulder for the second time. And then.
And you're what? How old at this point?
I was 16 at that time.
Okay, yeah, second time.
That was around the time they were like, I had a 250F before, and I was racing that and then blew it up. And my mom was like, I can work on a 252 stroke, and they allow 252 strokes to race in the light, or like the amateur class with the lights now. So it was like you could race a 252 stroke against the 250F.
Mm-hmm.
But the 252 stroke, like as a 15, 16-year-old kid, is a wild machine to ride. Yeah. And my mom was like, I rode one when I was your age. You can do it too. I'm like, all right, sure. So it was cool. It was like, get on the gate and you pull a hole shot in front of all these guys, but then you're like riding a wild animal.
Yeah,
the whole time.
But then you spin out of a fucking road.
Yeah, because I mean the power band's so crazy on those things. It's like you hit midway through and it just kicks up like crazy. So
and that was a wrap after that one. Then,
yeah, there was a few other times where I really got served on those things.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
was so skate and BMX was all was trickled in there during that whole race time then, huh?
Pretty much, yeah. Well, racing BMX was mainly what I was doing. I did that until I was like 8. Skate parks started showing up. So first time I rode a skate park, I was 5, I think. I think around that time, actually, they opened the skate park Rampage. It was like 20,000 square foot indoor park.
With the vert ramp and stuff?
Too? Yeah. So at the time, they had the vert ramp inside.
Yeah.
And I remember like, my parents heard the GT team was in town doing, I think they were doing like air show. Is that what they called it?
Was Volker was there?
Probably. I just remember I rode this 4-foot mini ramp with Rob Nolly, and he was so cool to me. And I was like, this is, it's like, I probably at the time didn't know who he was, but I'm pretty sure my parents were like, that's Rob Nolly. And I'm like, all right, that's Rob Nolly. But like looking back on it now, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like, and he was super like nice to me. He didn't have to be riding this little mini ramp with me, but he was hanging out with me, and it was cool.
That's sick.
But yeah.
And this is Atlanta, yeah?
Yeah.
Were you like burbs Atlanta or like actual?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
So like I live up 85, probably like 25 minutes outside of the city.
Okay.
So definitely like childhood, I was in the burbs.
Yeah.
But
you started getting sponsored and filming all these videos like at 16, 17, didn't you?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, you look young in this one.
But
it's 7 years. That's
you're
not
on
that
Altamont for skateboarding and bikes too?
That was kind of a weird little deal. It was just through Etnies and Soltech at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, they just like gave me free stuff, but pretty much Pova had worked that in to where it was like, oh, I got this dude that rides and skates, and we should hook them up with Altamont, and they were like, okay. So, but
that's cool.
I went through the whole transition of Altamont where it was like super dope, and then everything kind of got like
zoomed out,
super cool.
Yeah.
And then, but it's one of those cool things that I could like say I was getting free Altamont stuff. And at that time it was tight.
Hell yeah.
Another one was like America. Like after or right before Etnies happened, I was like getting Americas for free, which is kind of crazy.
Huh.
They were like just down to send BMX their shoes.
Yeah. Definitely the only BMXer that was getting hooked up by
America. Then I remember like getting some hate from someone. They were like talking about wearing Thrasher in America and repping all these skate brands, and I was like, I mean, yeah, you got a point, so that's like I kind of.
But you really are a skateboarder too, so it's like
I thought, but
they don't know that. They don't know that.
I mean,
like I like both.
I'm promoting BMX too, so it's like I don't know. I saw it, and in my head I'm like, yeah, I should be repping people that like support what I do. So totally understand that.
It's one of those things where it's like it's hard to say if it's gonna pan out. If it pans out correctly, where Emerica, eventually has a team and they're the first person, and that's cool. But it's like
there was nothing coming from it. I knew that too. I was like, it's just sick to get free shoes from a brand that no one else is getting free shoes from. That's all I thought. But, and
someone like as a skateboarder, you love those brands. I'm sure.
I thought it was sick.
Yeah.
Those shoes were tight. And at that time,
Devon Smillie loved singing.
I just went to the old.
You can oldest.
Not click that one. I think I'm actually singing some Nelly Furtado or some shit like that. Just classic.
But you were little, like
classic bike.
You started getting flown around when you were a youngster.
Oh, let's see this. This is 13.
I used to go on a lot of trips and stuff. Oh my god!
I know this is before.
I went to the DK
days.
All right. So who was the first sponsor then?
Wow, you're on DK.
Shoot. I think the first free bike I got, or like it was a frame actually. I think I got from Giant.
Giant.
Yeah.
How old were you right here?
17. I think.
Yeah, it said 13 years ago. So 16, 17. Is that the Nashville park?
No, that's a park that park was 5 minutes from where I grew up. And it was built like a year and a half right before I moved out here. Who's your watching this footage?
Yeah, it's fine. But this is early. This is early.
You had like a Nathan Chase Hawk.
Well, that's what Nathan
hybrid swag.
I was going to ask. I was like, who's your favorite rider?
Oh boy, I loved all the Nashville.
The knee brace on though already?
Yeah, that was no ACL at that time. I did a full year with no ACL. Yeah, you see that Nathan tug right there.
Yeah.
That first air though was so steezy too. Like you got the Nathan Street steez, and then
even like
hang fives.
Even at this point, Nathan was all about the hang fives too. So
yeah. Well, I lived at this park, man. This was one of those like.
Which one is this?
It was
the mall park.
Yeah, it was inside a mall, and it was Woodward before it closed down. But I mean, it was like so many different names. It probably changed ownership.
Probably
like
a Vans park for a little bit.
Nah, we had a Vans one that was separate, but it didn't last really long. It was fun. It was really cool. And then towards the end, like it used to be one of those parks like you have to pay. Oh damn! It was before I knocked my teeth out. I had a crazy gap.
Shout out to whatever did that, huh? There's Dylan right there.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, there's a lot of videos from that park, but yeah, that one was actually cool. Like the last year they were open, it was like there's no bike sessions. It's always mixed sessions.
That's cool.
Like,
yeah.
I ended up getting in for free. I actually skated a contest there, and it was like when the Woodward was the ownership. Skated a contest, won the contest, won a sponsorship to the skate park. I got the skate for free, and they sent me to Woodward, and I went to Woodward as a BMX skater. It was fire. And I think I was like 15 at that time. That's like
imagine the drama that created in the local scene. They're like, fucking Devon won, and he doesn't even want to go and skate.
No,
you know,
no one knew what was going on. You know, they don't have to know.
That's
I was cool with all the skaters growing up, like especially the ones.
It's just jealous.
Of course, you're beating them at the contest.
Natural jealousy. It had to be. I don't know why I only brought a few beers in. Let me grab more. But
yeah, more of the lagers.
Yeah,
those are good.
Yeah, I like these ones. They're nice.
So when did you start like flying to California or like coming across the country and like filming with Osiris and all that? How old were you then?
Shoot,
because you were still super young.
Osiris thing
like
happened
18, 19.
I was 18, so I almost remember like everything happening like yesterday. But I remember it was like right after my birthday when I turned 18, and then Bentley called me about Osiris, and I just remember like, oh yeah, we want you to ride for Felt and be on the team.
Yeah, you're on
like,
Felt.
Yeah. So that whole thing happened along the lines of like Osiris came after the Felt thing, because it was like I'm hanging out with Bentley and Carlson every day. So like he got me Osiris, and that turned into like pro for Osiris too. And so, but yeah, I was 18. I used to come out to California a bit. My grandparents live like Laguna Hills by Pink Park. It's like that little old skate park.
Yeah.
So they live literally across the street. So I like fly out, bring my bike, skateboard, whatever, and just like
another. I got a ticket there early California.
Dude, they used to like impound bikes, give tickets, all sorts of stuff, man. They were
And then that gave me the itch of like, man, I might move from Atlanta one day and just try to fully do it. When did that all kind of spark in your brain?
I always kind of grew up like, I think I was a California kid in my past life or whatever, you know, like because my mom was from Northern California and dad is from Virginia. That's, I don't really know it, but I was mama's boy. So I was like, yeah, like California seems cool. And I guess around the time I was like, I feel like if you want to like there's riding, so much riding in California, like so many pros out there, blah, blah, blah. But I actually never would have probably made the move just by myself. I remember I started. Oh shoot! How was it? It was.
Well, see, I can help you because tell the story about how you got a free sandwich from a hosptal.
Yes.
Can you
Tell
tell that story.
ACL surgery.
Yeah,
and had 5 doctors come in and ask me, what are we doing today? I'm like, you're doing surgery on my right knee. Your right knee. Yes, my right knee. Pointing at my right knee. And like they all came in and wrote different little symbols and letters or whatever on my knee. And sure enough, wake up from surgery and I look down and I'm like, my dad's like kind of sitting there beside me and I'm like, what? Why is there like a bandage on my left knee? Like he just starts laughing like, yeah, they started surgery on the wrong knee. Like, no way. That's crazy. Like, how does that happen? And one of the nurses came in and were like, we're so sorry about the procedure. There's just a little accident, but here's a free Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich coupon. So
they put you under and then
I got the full procedure in my right knee.
Yeah, they figured it out.
But I have a matching scar for my left knee.
They were about to start digging into your good knee.
2 matching
The doctor probably got to the ACL and was like, this one's still here.
But I just don't understand. Like there's so much pen marking, like marker on my right knee. Like I don't understand how that happens.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That is crazy. I never heard about that. Oh my God.
But then it keeps going, right? Like you're telling this story to somebody else.
Shoot. So I went to Chick-fil-A after that.
But you went to Chick-fil-A. Well, I didn't get to listen to too much, but I think it was on the Drifting podcast or something.
Possibly.
And I didn't even finish it, but it was you said that you were telling this story to somebody else, and somebody was like, "That's malpractice."
Yeah. My parents actually, so back to racing. They started a bike shop when I was 5, and that lasted all the way till I was like around 18 or something.
Dude, your parents were in it. Your parents were down.
They're badass.
My dad worked a real job. He's a mechanical engineer, so he was funding my mom, trying to support her son at whatever he did. Yeah. So at that time, was your mom a driver though? Was she like I mean, obviously you said this thing about the motorcycle, but was she like, I want you to fucking be a professional motocross racer, or was she like, no, like not really? It was kind of like, as long as I was like into something or passionate about it, and like it's something I don't even know. Like it seemed like everything I like to do was something that she thought was cool, so she was like completely fine with it.
That's the way it should be. Yeah. Honestly, like you're like, oh, you like this? Like I like it too now. I think
it was. But she seems like a badass.
Yeah.
Into action sports, motocross herself. So everything you like, she's probably like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
She's like, you should jump further. It would be better.
She just called herself like an adrenaline junkie. So like anything that was exciting, I think she thought was cool. But I don't even really think it was necessarily that. I could have been into anything, but as long as I show that I have like passion towards something, I think that's what really like mattered to her.
Oh, okay.
But
so sorry, circling back, your parents they
had the shop.
Yeah, okay.
The shop at that time, she was leasing the building from a lawyer who had his office in the back. So like I'm like crutching into work one day, and he's like, "Oh yeah, what's going on?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got knee surgery." Like, funny story, they started surgery on the wrong knee, and he's like, "Oh, immediately, that's malpractice, blah blah blah." Like I'll file a lawsuit for you. Like, won't charge you if we don't get anything, but I'll take a third if we get 7. I'm like, okay. So I got a little bit of money. I could have asked for way more probably, but I was like 17 at the time. Didn't really think of it.
He probably charged the right amount at that time. Like he's a lawyer. He would, if he knew that he could get more, he would get more. So
probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had settled, and whatever I got pretty much got me. I bought a car from my parents. Sorry.
You're good.
Bought a car from my parents. I think I spent like $2,500 on that, and then moved to California, and money was gone in less than 6 months. But even back to even that though.
Did you go home or did you stay? Like the money got you here to stay?
So that's another thing. I was fortunate to have my grandparents there. So like I ended up getting a room at my grandparents' house, and they were like down to kind of like help me out until I figured out my situation and get me on my feet or whatever.
Hell yeah.
So it was and around that time is right before I got on Fly too. So like I pretty much was broke, got on Fly, and then I was like good to go from there pretty much.
So
like
when you move,
pay room,
when you moved to California, you're sponsored by Felt, and that's it?
Felt and Osiris.
Oh, Osiris. Yeah. So were you getting paid from either of them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there was some income coming in.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like in today's, it's like not enough to even pay for a room.
Yeah. Yeah.
What they can get away with paying a little guy.
Yeah, a little guy from Georgia.
Yeah, like, he'll be stoked on this.
I was stoked on it. I mean, even like
exactly.
knowing what
your first sponsor to ride your bike.
Not even talking shit, but Kramer rode for Felt, and then he had a Lambo probably at the time. So it was like a little. But I mean, he was Kramer, of course. So, yeah, he was Kramer. So not one of the biggest. Not talking shit in any sense, but there's a wage gap there for sure.
Yeah. Well, I was fine with it. But even to think now,
gotta let the little guys get going too, though.
Some of my friends get paid now. It's like I was doing like fairly good for myself at that time.
Yeah.
And there's people that I feel like deserve a lot more than what they have, but it's just like, I don't know. It's tough industry at the moment.
It is a weird time right now. So, okay. So
when you're little too, I remember
you don't even, I mean, dude, I'm pretty sure when I got hired at Ride, working as an editor for Ride BMX, and I was 21 years old, I got like $28,000 a year. I'm pretty sure that's how much I got paid.
The first year I
worked at the world's biggest BMX magazine, and they started paying me $28,000 a year. I was 21 and I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
like
that about the little guys. Like,
yeah.
you know, like you got to get them in the door. Not that they're the little guys. Like Devon didn't have potential to be who he is now, but he's like a youngster, you know.
Yeah.
When I don't know if the other guys were the same, but when I first got on Nike 6.0 the first year, I was like I was probably like 16 or maybe I was so young, and they were giving us $5,000 a year, at least me, and I was like, fuck yeah. And I was at Woodward and Adam Banton was there, and he's like, I heard they're kind of ripping you guys off over at Nike, and I'm like,
you know, like, shows what you know. We get $5,000
in my head. I'm like, God, he has no clue, you know. But he probably heard, you know. I was like, he has no idea how much money I'm getting, you know.
That's so funny.
The scale is definitely off when you're that young, you know. And it was like,
my first,
but you're
like,
also
real
you're
checks coming in.
You're
I was like,
psyched on it. You know, like this is what I wanted. I don't. And then you know, I think especially the mindset of BMX back then was like kind of anti-money. You know, like you're like, no, I'm not doing this for any money. So thank you for the money that I don't care about. You know, like one of those things.
I didn't even think about the money at all at the time.
Exactly.
Of course, I was like happy as long as I could like pay bills and stuff like that. But I never even, I wasn't thinking.
When you're so passionate about something that you're doing it no matter fucking what, and then someone gives you that $5,000 a year, you're like, you think you're scheming the world. No way. Are they paying me to do this now and giving me all these shoes? Oh, the system Adam Banton has no clue. Dude. I'm rich. I got free shoes.
That's too funny. So you were living the California dream. Like, so before you came out from like Georgia, you had to be like, I'm going to move to California.
Yeah.
You know, is there friends that were like,
it's actually kind of funny. So I think around, I want to say I was like 16, 17. No, it was right when I turned 18. My parents were like, hey, like your sister's going to college and stuff. You're not really going to school. You know, you got to pay rent. And I was like, you know, of course, like rebellious teenage kid, like, dude, screw this, man. This sucks, dude. Like, so I was friends with this girl from school that actually had introduced me to one of her best friends. And I ended up dating her best friend. And then that girl from school let me live. Her mom had like some crazy 3-story house in a nice neighborhood with a pool in the backyard. She had 2 older brothers that had both gone to college. So I had like this basement area, all like 2-bedroom basement with like foosball table, kitchen, little theater set up. And she was like, yeah, you can stay in one of the rooms for free, whatever. My mom won't charge you. She loves you. And I was like, sick upgrade, you know?
Yeah.
So lived in that house for a few months, and then it turned into like, yeah, like we all should move to California. And sure enough, we all figured out an apartment and we all moved in together. And then me living with 2 girls lasted.
2 girls.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like the girl that I
did introduce you and the girlfriend at this point. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, me living with
sounds
2
like
girls
the
for
absolute California dream.
Was like,
no.
It was no dream, I'll tell you that. It was a nightmare, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It was probably me, you know? Like I was just insecure and like, you know, I don't know.
Probably it's always in the middle. I always feel like it's a little bit in the middle. If you're insecure for a reason and all that stuff. And they're coming out to California.
First serious relationship. And if I see, you know, my ex like hanging out with, you know, trying to make friends, because like she played ice hockey.
Yeah.
And like when you play ice hockey or roller hockey or anything, like, you know, a lot of guys. It's kind of like if a girl were to be like riding or skating kind of thing. It's like they're going to be hanging out with a lot of guys. And this being like my first serious relationship, I'm like seeing them make friends with new people out here. And I'm like, why are you guys always hanging out with guys? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So
no, I get it.
I was just freaking out. And then I kind of was just.
And handling things like an 18-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I got the boot.
Yeah.
And
did she start dating an ice hockey guy? Then you know it was true.
No, I don't think so. I actually
all right, you were wrong
know what happened with that, but
left the situation.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I actually had a buddy that raced motocross that was from Georgia that had an open room in Huntington. So that's how I first moved to Huntington.
Okay.
So I moved in with him,
and then that was what the 6 months of ACL money, botched ACL money went, and then grandparents.
Pretty much.
And then Fly comes in. Does Fly come through Pova?
Yeah, it was like right when Pova started working with Fly.
How do you meet Pova?
I actually I have a terrible memory. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, it happens.
I don't know. I honestly think he got my number through someone and just like kind of hit me up.
Oh, okay.
It was like
Hope is like a BMX talent scout, you know? Like
he is, yeah, he is for
finds
sure.
people,
Especially
he's like, I know you're gonna kill it. I'm gonna work with you. Like he's done that with so many people. I feel like kind of like a Losi or someone.
He probably, I don't know who he would have talked to because I feel like I didn't really like know many people. It was like within like the first 6 months of living in California that he hit me up. So it was like, I'm assuming it was through like Carlson or someone.
Was it? Really know. So you rode for Osiris at this point. Like I think this is like is this the one where it's like the half cab bar and stuff like that?
Oh, this was one I filmed. This was the second place I lived in Huntington. I lived in like this apartment off of Warner Avenue.
Okay.
That was the spot.
Ooh, I remember when this came
out. I remember this one.
Clips, bro. That was
skateboarding.
Did who film this? Kyle,
yeah. It was a bunch of mixed stuff in there.
What so you ride for Osiris and what bike are you on right there? Is that
that was a Fly.
Okay.
That gold one actually was a sample from Inner Bike that I took home. That was like Stefan's frame, and it was gold. I had it for a week. It was super tight, and I left my bike in the back of my car in a parking garage. And I woke up the morning. Pova was like,
"Ooh."
We had this whole plan to drive to the first Texas Toast, and that bike right there, it was sick. But he was like, "Yeah, like, do you know, I'm looking at flights for Texas Toast. You want to go, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go. How are you getting there?" And he's like, "I'm driving." I'm like, "Oh shit. Like, you just going by yourself?" He's like, "Yeah, you know." I was like,
gonna listen to Tool the entire time.
I was like, I mean, if you don't care, like this goes back, this is my weed phase. I was like, if you don't care about me smoking, like I'll drive with you. And he's like, "Oh, I'll do shit. All right, cool. That'd be cool." So like, you know, I went with him for a drive, and I hit him up that morning at like 6 a.m. Hear my car alarm going off. One of those times you wake up and you're like, I think that's my car alarm going off. Like distinct noise. But sure enough, my bike got stolen out of the car, and I hit him up, and he was like, "Do you still want to go? Like, we can have a bike figured out for you." And I went, and I think Empire got me set up with a new bike, and yeah.
Damn, it's just like Battle of Hastings this year.
Nah, well, yeah, a little bit worse.
A little bit, yeah. That sucks.
I got this one back. You know?
Oh, you did?
I got my Hastings bike back.
Oh, you did?
I didn't get that gold one back. Long gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this was like in my head, this is like oh shit, this dude has arrived. You know, like
when you see a kid that's this young, this good, you're like, oh man, he's here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. And it's crazy. You had like I guess even when you're riding park, you were doing a lot of street stuff. Because then you moved here, and it just looked like you're a full on street rider. But you have the transition skills in your pocket.
Is that Tyler?
Yeah,
that's Fernango.
Yeah, you guys kind of blew up. You were a little bit before Tyler.
Yeah,
bit,
for sure.
He was definitely already filming.
He took off quick though.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right
astronomical.
Yeah,
Tyler podcast coming soon, I hope. So,
that'd be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's crazy. It's cool that Pova didn't try and bring you like two in house because obviously he was like he was Etnies full-time employee at that point. You know, so
Fly was pretty much like a side thing at that point too.
Yeah, and then. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's like kind of crazy how that all worked out because even after the Osiris thing, they like phased out of BMX entirely, which kind of led to leading into the America thing through him being connected with Soul Tech. And then I was like, well, I'll just start wearing Etnies. You know, I'd rather like support them because they have all these BMX
actual
riders.
BMX program.
And then Pova was the one that got me on Etnies after that. So it was like he was the dude for me, you know.
How did the Osiris thing kind of fall apart? Because it seemed like it was big for a little while. Like it seemed like it was full steam ahead. And
maybe I'm like cursed, bro, or something. Because I get on teams and they're just like, we don't want to do BMX anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think Osiris really does anything anymore.
Yeah,
I think they got really into UFC and shit. Because like right before I got the boot, it was like you go on their website, it's like Rampage Jackson on the
really
front of the
website. I want to see now. It's not. Do I have to say that Osiris does not sponsor the podcast? Because
those are kind of hard.
Oh, they're doing like the D3. Oh, that is a D3. Holy
that
shit!
Triple air bubble.
They're just
That's what's trendy right now. Like when a D3
the
was
throwback.
Big, and they're selling these now. They're selling these now. They're
$118.
Look at those gold high tops. That's something I would have rocked with that gold frame.
Oh yeah, you would have.
Osiris was so sick. I think they were like they were right from San Diego too.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I think they were like Carlsbad or like
they had the ramps there, and then they had the spot that was like right behind the warehouse too.
That's crazy. They're still a thing. I didn't even know they were going.
Yeah, crazy.
I wonder if they even like sponsor anyone.
Apparel on sale catalog.
Let's see their team.
See, that's the problem with
no such thing.
I want to see.
Yeah, I bet the Instagram's gonna be it. Oh, there is a skater.
A skater right there. Boom.
We make shoes for skateboarding.
Still a skateboarding company. Cool.
Okay.
At least they didn't completely dip out of.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into this.
It's crazy. The site doesn't have like any.
Those shoes are so gross.
Yeah, the trendy shoes are crazy right now.
I thought that was.
I wasn't talking about the D3s. You know, they. I've never.
That's a classic. You know, so
for sure.
Yeah, he tagged Osiris, so yeah, they still sponsor skaters. Okay, fair enough.
Interesting.
Yeah,
they're still alive.
Still alive. Keep that flame alive.
It is a good time for them.
Yeah. They're like, our time is coming.
Yeah, we're back.
You know, it's funny when you think of these like I don't know what the right word is, but these like staple shoes like growing up, because it was like there was
that logo is like iconic to me. That's like what there was DC, there was Action, there was Duff's, there was Osiris, there was all these shoes.
Action came back too.
Did it?
Yeah, they made a comeback like a couple years ago. I don't know if they're still around, but I know they tried.
Yeah, I literally don't think about DC ever. Like DC must.
They were huge.
And now they're coming back super strong because they got like the Lynx models and stuff. Like all the fat ones that were like super OG shoes, they're rocking that. Like,
but that's like living off of the past. It's like, but it's like reissuing
their comeback.
It's like reissuing the fucking, you know, like
they were the start of the trend at a certain time.
You know, like that's what they're doing. They're just reissuing like their most popular.
But it's a wave though, you know? It's like
but it's not like technology. It's more like trends.
Yeah, it is fashion.
Like, you don't get backwards with technology.
Yeah, like
I'm cool with iPhone 1. You're like, all right, are you?
Yeah. What's those things?
Like, this is cool because what's those? Cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
What's those shoes that are like big and like orange that have like the big heels that just go up the legs that are like disgusting? They just look like moon boots or something.
The red ones?
Yeah.
Are they like Astro? I don't know.
Well, it's like if the people are wearing those, then D3s look pretty chill.
Yeah.
You know? So I guess that makes sense. But yeah.
Shit's out of hand.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I mean, I think it was a company.
It
was a company thing. Like it was like the company as a whole was just struggling, I think. You know, like, at least from what I remember.
You didn't make them go under. Pretty sure.
Definitely.
Pretty sure. Single-handedly.
The Devon curse.
I think I fucked
the
up
Devon curse. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Osiris, and how long was that?
That rode for Osiris?
Yeah.
I think a few years, probably like 3, 4.
And then I went on one Osiris trip, and I don't think you were on there. It was before.
Osiris
it was like
a dope team.
It was like Burns, Daryl, Miles.
Yeah, that might have been like
1,000 Beans, Drew.
Damn.
Why am I thinking? Drew. Why am I blanking? I feel fucking horrible. I literally have it's way up there, but there's 1,000 Beans original.
I remember one of the first.
I like that era.
Yeah, one of the first trips I went on was actually like I stayed with Bentley, and I think I was
Bentley was on the
float stuff from Osiris, and like Verde dudes were in town, and they had like a whole crazy party on the strip at Planet Hollywood for Drew York's Welcome to Pro thing.
All right, cool.
It was nuts. It was crazy. But of course, I was like, I think it was me and Justin Burns were the only ones that couldn't drink at the time.
Justin Burns, I haven't heard that name for a while.
Was Kevin on Osiris too? Then Crawley?
I don't think he was on Osiris, but I think he was there because of Verde. I don't remember him being on Osiris though.
That makes sense. Because I was like, why would he be there?
That
dude was cool.
All right, so California. So the California Dream kind of California shit show. Seems like, because it was like 3 houses in 6 months or something like that. Essentially,
I bounced around a lot.
Yeah,
but
that's how you got to do it though when you're moving across the country, and even had support, you know, and it's still a shit show. Like, it's hard. Like by yourself as a young guy across the country, young woman.
If I didn't have family out this way, like I probably wouldn't have made it.
Or you probably would have went back home and restarted. That's what a lot of people do. You got to do it.
Dude, across country though, like I don't know, that's a lot.
Yeah.
After I did the drive one way out here, I was like, I never want to do that again.
It's true.
Well, that's that mindset though. You're like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah. And
So
even like,
I'm sure even if you didn't have your grandparents, you would have figured it out. Because you said you were like a magnet to California.
Yeah. I probably would have been like, all right, well, I got to go home. Like I do miss home. I'll go home and then realize that nothing's going on and then be like, I got to get out of here, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows? There was the longest time where I missed Georgia so much. And I always thought like I got out of there almost too soon that I didn't get to have like full experience there. And I don't know. I think, you know, everything happens for a reason. It's not like I feel like I missed out on anything too much, but it still would have been cool to be able to, I don't know, be kind of more in tune with the city and everything a little bit.
Does your mom and dad still live there?
No, they ended up moving to Oregon, like Southern Oregon.
That's cool.
Not long after I moved out west.
I was gonna say you could always go back there, but
yeah,
now you don't have that home base, so you'd have to like rent a house or something.
Yeah, I have friends that still live out there that I'm like in touch with that, you know, I could always go stay with. But
it is crazy. Hometowns though, as an adult, are like way different than when you're a kid and before you have your license. And you're just like, I'm so bored of this, you know. But you go back and you're like, there's a lot more to do as an adult.
There was a couple of times I went back, like when I first got on Dan's, I think it was, I went with Carlson back there and I filmed at like local parks and stuff or whatever. And it was cool, you know, getting to ride the same stuff I grew up riding. But then like, once you realize like you're hitting people up to see what everyone's doing and people are just like working or not riding or skating as much as they used to. And it's like, all right, there's really like not much going on here. People are just living their own lives. Like, I just think compare it to like what it was when I was growing up and everyone's like fresh out of high school, you know? It's like two totally different worlds.
That's definitely what it is. I think as like an adult professional bike rider, skater, whatever it is, you almost have to move to a hub because all your friends that you grew up doing this with, it's a lot harder to connect and ride all the time. Like you can connect with them as friends, but like, even I'm from San Diego, but I'm where we are now, La Mesa, and like all my friends that I would ride with every day, like they got way more going on. Yeah. So I still have to hit up these pros that moved into town more than the local friends.
You need to be surrounded by people that are
to stay motivated.
Schedule as you pretty much.
Yeah. So
it's I mean, if you take BMX or action sports and being a professional athlete out of it, it's the same for people that move out of California and they move back. It's like the wavelength, you know, it just changes. Like you go back and you're like, wow, I don't really have anything in common with these people anymore.
Yeah.
And then let alone like something on the extreme end as like action sports and being like a professional athlete. It's like, I ain't got nothing in common. You know? Like, so it definitely makes sense. Did you?
Oh no, those lifelong friends.
There's exceptions. There's like, of course exceptions to it. You know, like you have those for sure. But like
those
just like
friends that like it doesn't. You see them like every day or once every 2 years, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's got those friends.
Yeah, like I got two really good friends that I grew up with in Georgia, and one of them lived in Portland and then moved when I was in like 5th grade back to Georgia, and that was the first time I met him. But then it was like every other school year he would like bounce back and forth from Oregon back to Georgia. But he actually ended up like living with me when I was like 16, just had my license and stuff, so we'd go like skate all the time, whatever. And then he moved back to Portland, stayed there, and now he's got a job with like Nike. And then one of my other good friends that we were skating with moved to Portland too, and he works at Nike now with him too. And like they come down once a year at least, or I go up there and see them, and it's like hanging out with them is just like, you know, it's like no time's passed. It's right back where we left.
Yeah, that's
some people, or everyone's got those people that like gravitate with them. Yeah, no matter how, if you try to like not hang out with them, you're still gonna like
just like
we work together somehow.
No, I get it. Did you ever have any interactions with DeMarcus when he was in Georgia?
Yeah, I mean, it was like kind of just randomly seeing each other at the skate park. Like there was the Park Factory in Noonan. I think it was like kind of middle meeting place for us, but
he wasn't in Atlanta. He was somewhere else.
Albany, I think.
How far is that from Atlanta?
Shoot, I'm not too sure. Once you get south of Atlanta, I don't know anything.
Oh,
because I'm like so. Even Atlanta is like pretty north compared to the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
But I think Albany is like probably 2 hours away. Maybe
not too far.
Maybe not that far.
Yeah.
But
who moved to California first?
I think me.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not too sure actually.
Because DeMarcus is a little bit older, but like his story is crazy too. Obviously, with like the meat factory.
I'm just assuming,
shit
but I
and
feel
all
like
that
it was
stuff,
almost like kind of the same time.
It might have been
like similar
could have
time
been
for sure. Like it couldn't have been too far apart.
Yeah. You know, are Tuesdays with Miles videos online anywhere?
Dude, I fucking
banquet.
Shout out to Miles, man. I love his videos and what he put.
Tuesdays with Miles.
Like, what was that like?
I was
video
just saying
platform
I miss
that
Miles and everything he did.
I talked to him via text like a few weeks ago.
He did the coolest. Gave BMX the sickest energy with every one of his videos.
Yeah,
like, God, he was dope.
They killed it.
Yeah. He was doing Tuesdays with Miles, so there's one coming out every week.
Yeah,
even like that because he filmed all the trip videos and stuff back in the day too, didn't he?
I think he did a lot of shit.
Well, him and Ty, and all that stuff.
True. Yeah. Yeah, he always had like cool vibe to his videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder.
And yeah, his energy.
2014. So I remember this is This is the first DeMarcus video that I remember. Yeah, 2014. So what is that? Nice. 9 years ago, but. Yeah, I don't know. Crazy. It seems like you guys are on similar paths. So I didn't know if it was like inspiration or just like one of those things that, you know, coincidence.
Any other pros come out of Georgia, or is it just? I'm sure there's a bunch.
Brian Fox. I think he's from Georgia.
Yeah.
One of my buddies I remember I rode BMX with. He was like a grade above me in school. He travels around and does like stunt shows and stuff, but. Shout out to Russell. That's my dude.
Oh, yeah.
Russell. But yeah, it was crazy. Like having only one other person in school in the area that rode BMX. And like, he was one of those kids that picked up BMX way later on. Like I grew up riding and then he got into it and was a Woodward kid and went and learned how to do a backflip before he could drop in on a quarter.
That's what's up.
Stall,
yeah.
So it was like, we were like two complete opposites, but hanging out and riding with him was like the most fun growing up. It was crazy.
Let's see. Let me see what else I got on here.
So now he's like, I went, the California route, filming videos and everything. And then he went doing stunt shows and still gets to ride and do what he loves. And he's making decent money at it. So
that's cool.
I would consider him professional.
I've really changed my tune on that whole idea. For 8 years ago, I was like, oh, like show riders are show riders. They're not like professional riders, but it's like, no, they're professional riders. It's just a different avenue for it. Those are the fucking.
I've always thought shows were, I had nothing against him. I thought it's an amazing way to make a living. But talking to Morgan in his podcast, and how he is like a legit pro and does the show thing. It's just like a awesome extra way to make money.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's
and motivate kids at every high school. Like to have Morgan Wade doing it, like to have people like that doing it is like awesome for BMX.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fucking exposure.
You see, Chase was doing them.
Yeah,
they
came to Austin.
Yeah,
and it's awesome. You're like, hell, dude, Chase Hawk is doing. Riding in front of high school people.
Yeah, he's doing a 3 table and you hear the kids scream.
Yes,
that's sick. That's so sick. So
I remember I did stunt shows growing up back in the day. I remember like first time I got paid was like I was 12 years old. I think I got $250. I was like, this is sick.
It's a cool feeling. Like you're like, I mean, I did them when I was young too, and you get nervous. You're like, oh, there's like people watching me ride this sketchy box jump, and
I think I'm
going to make a little bit of money for doing this.
I was like. I don't know. I think when you do something that like you've always done or you like know, you're comfortable doing, you get like this fire ignited whenever it comes down to like people watching. So I always got like so energized off of a crowd kind of thing. So I think that doing shows growing up kind of like played into being comfortable riding contests even. Because I like, of course, get nervous and stuff riding contests.
Nah, but I could see that with you. When you drop in, you get in a zone more. And you see, and a lot of people you see kind of like, oh, as soon as
I'm like, this is what I'm here to do. This is what I'm here to do. I want to show people what I can do, and like I want them to like know what's possible on a bike, and
especially
like,
with your riding too. Because I remember when you first got invited to X Games, I was like, his riding is so crazy. There's no way he's gonna be able to put all this shit together. Like. Because it's so hard. Like he was one of the first people to. Like,
I have a whole sequence of questions, so I'm gonna let you just go because I feel like you're gonna have the same exact questions that I am. Yeah.
Not questions, just stating. Yeah. Before Devon, everyone kind of had like in street contest their contest tricks, like, and then it was you and Chad who kind of were like the first guys to step to like combos and like shit where you're like, oh, and make the crowd just, yo, when you landed it, like that. It was just like the first, now there's courage, but you two were like the first ones to step to like, I'm gonna fucking do a couple like links.
Yeah.
And Garrett would do it, obviously he does everything, but you guys were the ones that really changed the game for that. And that takes having cool. That's something that you have to get pumped rather than the crowd make you nervous.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
when you're doing tech stuff, like the crowd making you nervous is you see people blow that shit all the time. They're doing it in practice every time, and then the crowd just like they call their name, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's like the Matt Ray thing. Like Matt always kills practice, and then when it comes to the event,
Matt kills it in the contest too.
Matt,
though.
He does, but I feel
he
like
has this curse where it's like
I guess
75.
Let's not
no matter what he does.
Yeah. Let's not talk about the last 3 years or 4 years because it was like because he had like that 2017 year or something where he was like he was like the
silver one, right?
He was a phenom. No, he got like last, and then he didn't get invited back for like 3 or 4 years. They like invited him. You know, it's like
he got silver at a Minneapolis one, no?
Yeah, I think that was that was after like he got the invite.
Oh.
Like I think there was a year, maybe exaggerating, but he got like last, and then they didn't invite him back for like 3 years.
Yeah,
and he was like, I fucking blew it. You know, that like sucks. He was like the phenom, but he's just nervous, and he was killing it all practice.
Yeah,
and then he just blew it in the contest, and they're like,
that happened with.
Well, I'm not inviting that dude anymore.
Didn't that happen with Colin too?
Colin too. Colin was someone in practice where like if
had the one shot.
If he would have linked his run, he would have won. But if everything he was doing was so hard, I think he got last too.
Yeah,
and now
that's like that's Colin's like MO. That's like
that's a lot of the guys who get invited to the street. I don't know. I can't think of names and stuff, but it's like you could win with this run, but it's so hard. You could get last if you don't pull it. Because if you don't pull your run, you're gonna be way in the back.
Courage.
You have to stop. That's courage.
Because we're like, dude, like he's trying stuff that no one else is gonna try in their runs, and like if he doesn't land it, he's gonna get last. But if he lands it, he could win. I have like a little like
you have a system. You have a system
down to
all right. So
you do have.
Okay.
Wait, can we pause before we go? Or you guys can keep talking, but I'm gonna take a pee. If you want to pause, go for it.
I feel like. First, my first question is, do you have like one trick that you're like, I want to do this and I'm going to base it the rest of the run off of that?
I like to start, like, I usually have like a first trick that I always think like, if I can get this first trick down, like the rest of it's going to fall into place.
Okay.
And then pretty much I like to try to do like a safety run.
Okay.
And if that safety run goes well, because I don't want to do like full out first run because you don't want to like set a base score and then have to work up from there. So like throw down a safety run and then work up and add on to it after that.
Yeah. Okay. Because I always feel like there's like one thing in there where I'm like, it's like the power up, you know, and usually it's like maybe, I don't know how long it runs these days, 45 seconds?
45, yeah.
I feel like it's like always like 25, 30 seconds in or something like that, where it's like the one where you do have the base. But then you have like, once you land that fucking one that's like 30 seconds in and it's like, oh my God, you know, like
you're just riding it out from there.
Yeah. So,
there's been a few where like, it really depends on like course setup as well. Cause there's some courses where you can figure out one thing that really favors like a fake manual line or something.
Yeah.
The last few haven't really favored that at all.
Yeah.
And it's like especially the Ventura one. The Ventura one was on paper. You're like, dude, this is gonna be the sickest X Games ever. And you go and ride the course. You're like, this is awkward. Man. Like, there is no flow.
This is Japan 22. I think this is the year Lewis won.
Yeah.
Do you know which one was your first place run?
I did the same run except changed the last trick. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I did the sketchiest full cab bar. It's the second. I think we only did 2 runs, so it might be this run.
Okay.
Yeah, bro, that shit was so bad, but you know, contest make. I think I rode off like one-handed. Nope, that wasn't it.
I feel like there's been a couple years where I was literally like,
oh, maybe we did run 3. Yeah,
there's a third one.
Yeah. Oh, this one I actually added the over ice out of the manual. Yeah. I don't know where this came from. It was just kind of random.
That was so sick, though.
You literally didn't plan that?
Like, that is so crazy hard to, like, go for in a contest.
Yeah, this is the run that I was thinking.
I don't think I've ever done a manual in a contest run. Fucking deck. It's too risky for me. I'll loop out doing a deck manual.
Like, I don't think... I'm not a judge. I've always been a horrible fucking judge. So literally, I'm looking through the camera. I'm like, well, that guy won, and then he gets 4th place. I'm like, oh, I'm not a judge. Clearly,
yeah,
you know. But it's so hard when everybody does what they want. I feel like it's so like indiscernible who deserves to win to me.
Absolutely.
And I feel like,
hey.
It fucking counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like it not that Lewis didn't deserve to win, but he was just such a fucking powerhouse that year. Where it's like if you do apples to apples, like your run may have been better, but like it was all the power and the delivery.
When I think about it, it's like a lot of the stuff he did in this run, like it's like there's nothing really for me that I can like compare in a way, because there's a lot of stuff that he does in his run that like I wouldn't do in a contest run.
Yeah.
Like the bar pegs down that rail was massive too. I think in the line where he gets first, he does some line where he does that, but manuals in between it or something. That was crazy.
Yeah, I think so. We'll watch it through, but
switch one bar down the set too.
The feet come up perfectly. Yeah,
yeah, he was on at this contest for sure. Yeah, and he's hitting from the tall side. There's like an extra, almost a foot that he has to gap to get on the outside.
Runs are just way different.
Hanger bar, like I ain't doing that in a contest run. Switch whip, I ain't doing that in a contest run. Do it in practice, but not in the run. I'm landing tricks I know I can land, But that's probably why I haven't won.
I feel well. I mean, I feel like when I've seen, like, there I am right there with the purple vest.
Yeah, like, dude,
yeah, that is crazy.
This is a great run.
Yeah,
it's hard to compare them. This is hard to compare them. They're both so.
Yeah, there was a year in Minneapolis where I feel like everybody pulled their shit.
This
and it
run
was
is
like
nasty.
And I don't know which year it is in particular, but it was literally it could have been top 5, could have just been swapped in any direction.
Even
that's how Ventura could have been.
Yeah, Ventura was like that. I feel like towards the end, like everyone was just
landed their run.
Everything, yeah. And that was another one. Like I was
that's a swaggy
watching everyone's runs. Like even at the California one, I remember watching not Ventura, but like the last one at the TF. I remember watching Chad go, and I was like, oh, well, I lost podium, and then he like got 4th or something, and I stayed on podium. So I dropped in on my last run thinking I was in 4th, and I was like, well, I fell in my run. I just blew it. And they were like, you got 3rd. I was like, oh crap, that's crazy.
It is definitely hard, man.
Yeah, it's crazy because like in Ventura, I'm like watching everyone land their runs, and I'm like, there's no way that I'm gonna like stay in this good position. Like I don't know where I was, but I ended up 4th, and even watching everyone's runs, like in my head, I'm like, I don't know how I placed that well.
Yeah,
because everyone killed it. Everyone did so well, but I don't know. That one would have been impossible to judge.
What about the? I obviously have to ask about the the controversy after the fact with the park riding. Was what it was, right? It's been a couple months removed. It was
a while ago.
Park rider, there was lots of people on the internet saying like it wasn't a street contest.
I don't know.
I mean,
I think Kevin killed it.
Yeah.
I think he annihilated it,
But it's gotta be difficult. I think from the aspect of like, I am doing what I'm supposed to do here. And then it's like, I don't know. What's the right way to say it?
I don't know. I think it's like Devon said, Kevin killed it. Everyone killed it. It's just like, it's 4 guys' opinions.
Yeah.
Like, I really like, I've been a judge at things, and it really just comes down to it's your opinion, and you have to be like, that's what I like the best. I'm sorry, I fucking liked what he did too, but damn it, I have to put one in front of the other, and it's like, God, that was sick. That was sick. That was sick. This is what
but like the first time I ever went to X Games, like it was like, I think Mira won, but like Volker did a bunch of shit and then crashed at the end, and the crowd booed. And it's like the crowd doesn't know exactly what's happening.
Yeah,
and the crowd and the people on the outside don't necessarily know what is happening. But I feel like the judges are like voting it. Like I don't know. It's like if it's a street contest, you guys don't have that many street events. If it's judged like by errors and like gaps across the course.
I just feel like the energy that he brought to the course was, it's like a whole different level of energy.
Yeah.
Like he was going fast, doing technical stuff, doing big stuff. Like he cleared all the bases on that. And then like I watched my run. There's been multiple X Games where like I've done my technical stuff and done really well, and I'm like, that's crazy that this got judged better than this run where I thought, but
Yeah.
I don't, it really is like, it's so up in the air. Yeah. It's like, you don't know what people want to see that day or whatever, or
like you said, a course too. Like a course is.
Yeah, course.
That course had this like thing where Boyd and Kevin almost like did this like swirl. And it was like pretty beautiful way to do a run where like they started on the top levels and like swirled down.
Yeah.
You know? And not to say some other people were doing that too. But like, I feel like I was just watching as a fan, and I kind of like those runs were what I was like, damn, like
they carried a visual impact a little bit better.
Yeah.
But did you say the course? You said the course was rough though.
It was weird for me. Yeah. For my liking.
I think it was probably rough for some people, but then some people like Kevin and Boyd were like, hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like, you just start on top, and go start fast. On top, like, because I started my run and I was like, I have to start up top. I have to hit this big wall drop thingy, because if I don't use it, that's like almost half of the course up here that's not being used. So it's like, I don't like doing big drops, and it didn't feel great, but I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pegs drop off this thing at least to start it off. And like, I don't even know if I hit that in practice. I was like, all right, I just gotta do this. So it's like, get that out of the way or whatever, and then do the same kind of technique, just like funnel it in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess almost like I said that they were the only ones doing it, but like everyone did that. I just think like Kevin and Boyd's riding was like meant for that.
Yeah,
like that they wanted to do that anyways. Like everyone else, like, fuck, I have to do this.
Exactly. Like I'm doing it because I have to. Like it's not something in my head that like I want to necessarily.
Which is kind of good though, because a lot of the courses have been just very flat plaza for so long. So it's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Put some elevation.
Like, I know
and
a lot
of
people don't like that, but in my head, I'm like, give me that flat plaza, you know?
Exactly. That's your shit. And
that's ledges. Like,
yeah, no,
I don't care. I'm down to ride anything.
I think it's one of those things, like maybe on the opposite end, like I'll just let this play just so we have, I have no idea what we're going to see.
And it's weird when you got certain layouts like this, like when see, some of the past courses are almost symmetrical.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, you have some things that favor going left and right, certain different ways. Like you couldn't hit that.
Yeah.
If it's the opposite side. I mean, obviously people could, but like I wouldn't hit that opposite. Like,
fuck no.
Like luckily that tall wall was right side, and I grind right side. What's up, boy?
Get out of your coop.
I think I said something about the judging right there, and you cut it.
Yeah,
because I remember you're like, I'll cut that.
I got nothing negative to say, but I definitely like
But it was just a joke. I think I was like, these judges don't even. This shit's too crazy. Like no one even knows.
I think you texted me afterwards and you're like, can you remove that?
Because I didn't want.
I said already did. Yeah. Don't worry.
I will say Johnny got scammed. Johnny killed it.
Johnny killed it for sure. Yeah. I think it's just hard because it's like like the bar hanger thing is like, it's in the end, it's just a tiny rail, you know, but it's a tiny rail that's there. You should make a tiny rail.
Doing tricks that no one else does in a contest. So it's like, that's what it's meant for. Like it's a bump to bar. Like you better be doing something crazy on it.
Yeah.
I did pegs hard on it.
I think Colin's run was really awesome too, and he might have got second to last. It's just it was a really fucking good contest.
Yeah, broke his kneecap practically, and then got up and finished it out.
Fucking insane.
And I'll just say, fucking, if you don't get third place, everyone gets the same money anyway. So who gives a fuck,
dude? And I didn't know that. Like
I didn't know that either. I was like, dude.
Last year I got 2 podiums.
I honestly,
I guess last year it was the same thing. And then Chadwood told me, he was like, yeah, you get fourth. It's pretty much like
so whatever.
Last.
You got to get top 3. So
I was like, damn, that sucks. And then I got all in my head, and then like the 2 this year, Japan and Ventura, I got 4th, and I'm like, damn it, dude. Like,
fourth is the worst place at X Games, bro.
Oh man,
I don't know if all the events.
I didn't know that. That kind of
street and park kind of
sucks.
I know that.
Yeah, no, it's tough, bro. Especially I had a good year last year.
It's like you're doing
lost sponsors and
you're
shit.
You're doing a demo. You're doing a demo unless you're fighting for first, second, or third.
Yeah.
So it's like it's pretty funny. It's kind of weird.
I guess that was one of my questions. Do you put together a run? Obviously, you have a safe run, but then do you put together a run that is like borderline unachievable that you think can beat everybody, or is it like one where you're like, well, Garrett's run is fucking better?
Nah, his run was so fucking.
That's what I mean though. It's like I feel like Donike's run is fucked.
Yeah,
and he was
like
he was
at
Feeble
5.
If Donike was here,
switch Feeble.
If Donike was here, he would tell us the absolute all of his feelings about.
This is the one where I messed up. I didn't land run 3.
Oh, Should I change this?
Nah, it's all
Fine,
good.
just keep watching. Messing up happens.
See, backside of the boat party.
So do you put together a run that you think can win, or is it like this is the best I got? Or does it depend on the course? I guess. Oh.
I guess it depends on the course. Like I remember in Sydney, I did this like manual up to fakie manual drop off of this kind of tall wall thingy, and like in my head, I was like, this run could potentially win, but it didn't. I think that was another 4th place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of tried to like stay in some sort of comfort zone.
Yeah.
I don't really like to, go all out on something that I don't know if I'm like, I like to do stuff where I know I'm for sure going to land it, but sometimes you don't land it. It just happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
tough world. Is that the Sydney one is the one that, the last Dennis Street appearance where he fell over the railing, right?
Probably.
Was it? No, you rode one of the TF ones though, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah. I just like the Sydney over the railing one was good.
That was definitely one of my like, all right.
Oh man, I wish I could just pull that clip up like instantly, where it's like Dennis just falls like 15 feet, but it's like soggy AstroTurf on the other side, so he's totally fine.
That was an era though where it's like, man, why am I riding these? Because now that I have 2 bikes, though, I'm like, would way more be like, because I like that stuff way more with 4 pegs and free coaster. But it's like, I'm gonna ride the fucking TF with 3 pegs and pumped up tires and like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's
like this is not me. Like,
I think that's
I don't want people to not get to ride.
I almost said this earlier, is that like when X Games was these like oddball courses where you didn't necessarily know what you were gonna get, it kind of fit.
For sure.
Like these guys' style riding. Yeah. And then as it became more like street league,
you knew
plaza, you know which blue rail you're getting, and this flat bar is going to be this dimension. Yeah. It like started, and then they throw this curveball this year.
The last couple.
Yeah. Like, and so it's
what I was talking to Dak, and Dak was like, damn, dude, like, come on, give me another chance.
Exactly. like if they put in shit that Dak, like that one in Austin where Dak was like, you guys have something that I can fucking shoot from 10 feet up.
Are you talking about the one that was on the actual racetrack?
Yeah.
That course was crazy.
That
course was features on there.
Yeah.
I remember I was alternate at that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
that was like the one in the middle of all the street league. Or not,
and then
street league's actually sick now, so you can't use that as an example, but the California Skate Park Plaza. Bloop, like,
yeah, I always thought it was based off of street league.
Me too, but then they started making street league good again. I've kind of tuned into a few, and the courses are like, courses got bigger.
They got bigger.
The last few I've looked at.
It just got so small, you know, like where it's like
they changed it back.
Yeah, they have like the flat ledge, flat rail, and then like maybe the big section.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's like a 6 bigger now, though, right?
Yeah,
I feel like the last few I've watched, I'm like, oh, there's actually.
I watched like the Australia one, and they were like, oh, we got the big boost mobile ledge, and it's like, yeah, it's like a bump to ledge, but it is a big feature. But I mean, yeah, they're up in the ante a little bit.
Moved it up a little bit.
Well, X Games. I mean, you've had a lot of success though. Like, so that's like, how many? Do you know how many X Games in total? Like, if you've been an alternate at which one have we said?
I was alternate in 3. It was I was at like
Dennis. You should have just fucking bowed out.
I should have. That's why.
Actually, no. I've been alternate in 4 because I did bad in one of the last Minneapolis ones, and then got like alternate or second alternate or something to the first TF one. And I was like, damn, dude, like I had just got like 2 medals and then got like a 7th or 5th or something, and then didn't get invited back. I was like, that's it.
Dirty.
Like, am I done? Like, but yeah, I was alternate at the Barcelona
Street X
one.
Games is probably the hardest contest to get invited to.
Yeah.
It's 8, right?
There's 8, and there's like 8 million really good street riders.
Yeah. Some of them, I think some of the first ones were like 12, weren't they? Probably say they did 12, but
yeah, I mean, it should be 16 and then just run a fucking semi.
I think 2014.
Like, who cares?
Or
Run it.
BMX
Fucking turn the camera, turn the cameras off, and just let us fucking host it. I'll film it. I'll bring a couple of filmers in. We'll film it. You could use it on the fucking broadcast. We'll host the thing, and it just won't cost you anything.
Companies we need to make our own shit.
Well, that too.
At this point, you know, it's like can't worry about X Games being like the one, you know.
That too. Yeah.
Because really, the prize money is good.
Let me get a modest loan of $1 million real quick.
Don't even need that. You need to get a permit for a sick school.
I'm joking.
Something, you know, you can do it way more grassroots than that.
Yeah. What about the real street thing, like the Rincon thing? Did you ever get a call for that or no?
Nah, they knew not to hit me up. Yeah, I've never even been to that spot in person.
Yeah,
but I'm not much of a drop guy.
Yeah.
Probably was when I was like 18, but
yeah, that big
good
old
on
three
that.
in the Osiris edit and the
You
manual
did.
drop.
You
You did
did.
some drops in that edit.
I was a kid then.
Yeah.
18. The gap to wall, the Long Beach gap to wall.
Oh, rip, dude. That was like,
Did anybody do it? Who did it in the end?
Denim did it, I think.
Denim did.
Yeah.
Oh,
3
good.
people tried it, right?
Yeah,
You,
Reed-
Garrett.
I think
Reed.
Reed wanted to do it as well. I remember we were sitting at the OSS house one day and we are just chilling, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Reed wants to do that gap to wall," and I was like, "Oh damn, we got to go do it." So we went to go do it. I don't even think I wanted to do it. It was kind of like, you should go do it, and like we all loaded.
Did
up
I
in
shoot the
car.
photo?
Someone's got to do it.
I don't remember, dude. That was like,
Who else
you know.
tried it? Oh, what video is that in? So now we've talked about it too much. I have to bring it up.
I think Vital literally posted a whole video on me just trying it and falling.
You
and
mean
that was it.
border bike?
Is that what it
I'm
is?
just joking. Yeah, so it's an ongoing
Yeah, RIP.
Bikes are bored.
Game of bike.
Those are cool.
Wait, did they change the channel name? No, that's something
No,
else.
it just
Garrett's-
re-uploads.
Oh, that's Garrett's channel.
Game of bike.
Oh God.
Stevie Churchill versus Adam LZ. That's sick.
I wonder who won.
Probably Adam, dude. Shout out to
Definitely.
LZ. I want to hang out with him.
Yeah, drifts. We'll talk about drift stuff. Felt bikes video. I don't know. We're not gonna find this while riding.
That's funny. There's a video I filmed with John Hicks for Felt Bikes in there.
Should we watch it?
Nah, we don't need
Is
to.
that you
It's
right
just
there?
funny. Someone was like, "Oh yeah, watch John Hicks on YouTube." I'm like, "That's funny. I know that guy."
Dude, I actually thought about him the other day, and I was like, you'd be a good podcast guest. Because I watched one of his. He's still doing the same thing. Like he disappeared for like a year or something, a year or 2 or 3. I have no idea. And he's like
off of YouTube.
it recommended one of his videos the other day.
I got like a Suron video that randomly popped up.
Yeah.
I was like scrolling on shorts on YouTube, and it was like riding Suron through hood or something like that.
The same
Like,
format,
yeah.
and it's always the same format. But he's like he's back on the BMX bike, and he rides all different types of bikes and stuff. And I'm like, John was a cool fucking dude.
Yeah, he was sick.
John was super fucking cool, and I feel like he's like my it's like my poster child of like how to not treat YouTube. You know, like where you like treat it, where you're like it because you have success in something, and then you go down that path. You know, and then you're down the road and you're fucking miserable because you're not doing what you want to do and you're like chasing the dollars and chasing the money.
I think
I feel like that's like that's what I say.
It sounds like a great podcast.
Yeah, like that's how I envision
That sounds like
it.
a good
I haven't talked to
because
him
I don't
in
know
years.
what the hell is going on with that. So,
but
I would love to.
Yeah, I've always
sit
been
and
afraid
write
of the
about that.
YouTube route. I respect you boys for
he quit.
doing it already.
I didn't quit.
I was like, what? I swear.
I didn't quit.
I just feel like it's like, I don't know. I always thought that there's been multiple times where like, damn, this would be like a good YouTube episode or something. But I had never wanted to be like fishing for content just to like
That's
have
the
stuff to
struggle.
do. Yeah.
That is the
Like, and I
struggle.
feel like it seems like it's so easy for people to get burnt out on it. But I mean, if you get to a certain point and you're like, everything's so accessible, I'm sure it's like doable. But
Yeah.
I guarantee these people still deal with these struggles.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's more of a conversation for him. For me, it's all this stuff is so ingrained in me. When I try and like talk to people about it, I realize that it's like stuff that is obvious to me is like only obvious to me. You know, like I'm like so ingrained in like journalist, like in like how you should talk on an Instagram caption and what you should do for a thumbnail and titles and all that stuff. It's so ingrained in me that I like don't even think that I should say it at points, if that makes sense.
But it's so good for real pros not to do it.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to
put out
shouldn't
the real
have to.
shit. You know, like you should. You know, unless someone is like a real pro and they really like it too. Like
I kind of like holding back a bit. I've almost even been more.
It's
on
not
that,
holding
like,
back. You put out a bunch of shit. You're constantly killing it on Instagram. Like you're not holding back at all. You're doing exactly what you should be at like the best level.
Oh,
you know, like adding the YouTube thing to it would only be something if you're like, I really like doing this.
Yeah,
because I know who you are, and you probably wouldn't like doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah.
thought maybe if someone else like dealt with filming and editing, I could be into it.
That's what you need, but that's the hardest thing to find.
I've never even been someone that's like, yeah, what's up? Like, how's it going? I don't like talking in front of cameras, you know?
Well, that's what's cool about YouTube, though. If you did have someone that wanted to film you and edit and they had that passion, like you don't have to do that because they could make it really real.
Yeah.
Like you could just be doing you. Those days you think are a cool YouTube episode and you just lived your life and he shows you. Yeah. Like, look at this. You're like, oh, thanks.
Exactly. That's kind of what
the hardest thing to find is someone who wants to do that.
Am I going to pay someone out of pocket to do something that may not pop off or whatever? I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
It won't for a while. Yeah. Like, that's what it is. Like,
I know that.
It will.
That's why I haven't done
it. Will. It will. Everyone's that does it who has like a following and is a pro, it does take off, but it takes a lot of like, let's keep doing this. I swear it'll take off. Come on, buddy. Come on.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm chilling. I like what I do.
Do you? You're doing it right.
Well, it's. I think we kind of bounced around a little bit, but I feel like the most recent, the most recent news that I think caught us off guard was the Etnies stuff.
Yeah,
I just didn't see that coming.
Well, Etnies happened first, and then Fly.
Yeah. But I feel like
I didn't see it coming either.
Fair play. How long were you on Etnies?
I think 7 years.
7 years. Yeah, that's a long time.
So that was like. Pova was part of the program at that time.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Like the time that I got on, we were filming for chapters and I think they were filming for 2 years before I got on. So I got the last year.
Okay.
So it was like, I think I went on 5 trips in a year time frame and it was like sick. You know, we're doing a lot. I'm out here like traveling with new people. Like it was awesome.
Yeah.
And once that video finished, it was like everything just came to a standstill.
Yeah.
And then
it did seem like that.
Yeah, I don't think anything happened after that.
Dude, I feel like this is just getting off track, but I feel like they just put way too much budget into that one video. Like it was like, this is our holy grail.
It's because it was forward. It was forward too.
Yeah, but you got to know what your generation is. Like what's going on.
Too long.
Dude, there was parts that were like, come on. You know, like this is a great video, but like
a video over an hour long. I'm not trying to watch that.
No, you guys.
I'm about to start making 2-minute edits, dude.
It's not, I think it's it was just something. It was like so good, but just like you said, so dragged. There's like interludes and shit. It was like something that would come out way before the internet was out. There's like, you know what I mean? Like there's the internet. There's a place for, well, the videos come out on the internet now, but like you don't need to. It's not like a documentary or something.
Yeah.
It's a riding video. Put the fucking hammers in there.
It was a masterpiece and it
was really good.
But it just, I don't know.
The timing though wasn't right. You gotta play your timing.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
So do you think they put way too much budget into the video and then Etnies saw it and was
it kind of seems like that's what happened. I honestly never really thought about that.
Really?
No.
I probably never said that out loud. Honestly,
you're honestly probably like right on point with it, but it just seemed like after that, everything BMX wise kind of got pushed back, and I also think that's what happened with Pova, because he basically was let go years after that, and then came back and then let go again. But everything he ever brought to the table was like trying to get them to like be more active with BMX and stuff. They were just constantly push back, and nothing ever happened. And then it was in their head, they're probably like, why do we need this guy if like we're not doing anything with BMX?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, we're dealing with people that don't know anything about BMX. So then they bring Pova back in and then let him go again. And then, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what's going on over there.
So they still have people on though. Like there's just like a few people, but then they have like the
Nathan
European,
and Chase. European is a whole different program.
European seems like they're killing it. Like they got they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
So America or whatever.
And then I guess like Ian tells people, I guess like the dude Fred from Etnies, Ian's the one kind of like telling people who he should hook up in America. Cause then it's like, even when I rode for him, like I would tell them who we should give shoes to. And like I think Pova was telling them who they should give shoes to, and then like it just never seemed like they're right people were getting product and stuff. It was weird.
It's a brand that's probably struggling, and when brands are struggling, they kind of like
things definitely got tight.
Marketing's always the first thing to go, and they qualify athletes sometimes as marketing.
Yeah,
you know, because
sure.
it's not
which
like
is weird though. If you talk about marketing, if you see how much money is going into their Olympic French skater and like other sorts of things, there's so much money going into the skateboarding side of thing. Like they're trying to make it the dopest thing in skateboarding again. And it's just like,
they are a skateboarding company though, aren't they? Or did they start out with everything?
They started out skating. So Pierre, the owner, is a skater. And
is it still a privately owned company too, right? Yeah. Pierre still owns it. Yeah, I mean,
think about
commending it. That's amazing.
I get it though. If I was a BMX shoe company that just fucking grew so big, I was like, I like skating too. I like snowboarding too. And then it started like kind of fucking up. I'd be like, all right, sorry, but keep my BMXers good.
Yeah.
You know,
but then if you're struggling, would you be dumping 6 figures or whatever into like one person or something to try to like?
Do you think they always did that though? To other guys that you just in skateboarding the whole time?
Probably. I would imagine at a good point, but
I think they always have.
I don't know, man. It's tough. It's just like it just sucks to like see such a legacy from Etnies BMX kind of like dwindle down.
When you see a couple people leave, that you're like, they were the ones that like, like they need to be in there to keep it going. That's what sucks for sure.
Like beginning of the year, I didn't get paid the first 3 months. And I was like, yo, guys, like, what's up with this contract, you know? And they were like, oh, we'll get back to you. And then, like, out of nowhere, I got the email that was like, sorry, we can't afford to, you know, fill your budget or fill your contract for this year. But if you're down to, like, keep repping, we can possibly give you a contract in 2024. And I was like, whoa, dude, like, what? And then, so I hit up Nathan and Chase and told them, and they were like, I think I kind of tripped them out. And so in my head, I'm like, damn, they're just dumping BMX and everything. So I responded to him and I was like, that's crazy that you guys are just like bailing on BMX after all this. And then I got a call and it was like, hey, just to let you know, like Nathan and Chase still ride for us. It was just you. Like you're on an annual contract and they have multi-year contracts. So I'm like, oh, damn. So you couldn't fulfill my contract, just mine, but then you have like all this money going out these other ways for skateboarding. And I've heard ridiculous numbers from people what's getting put out there. So it's like my little contract, which in my head is like I'm grateful for it, but it's like it doesn't. No one else wants to. Like, take that cut.
They've also been doing the MTB thing. And Fred, I know Fred. Fred used to work at Transworld. Fred used to work at 10, the Enthusiast Network. He's a super nice dude, but he's into mountain biking.
Yeah,
you know, like, and so there's.
That's why I always say, like, if there was more,
I'm probably not going to get any Etnies dollars anymore.
If there was
ever, I never did, but either way, I'm definitely like I don't mean to talk shit, but that's just the reality. That's just the reality of the situation.
In these companies, because like BMX fucking shines, you know, when there's like a Jerry Batters in there, or a Hova, to be like, look, and so damn, these dudes are all killing it, bringing in
the program.
All these
the program
eyes.
Does well too.
But when there's no BMXs in there, it'd be the same thing if there was no a surfer in our BMX company. You'd be like,
or a BMXer in the surf industry.
Like, they have to kind of like, that's the problem with, not a problem.
If you hired me to be a mountain bike TM, a mountain bike downhill TM, like I'd be like, let me ask around. Like, I don't really know.
But like, no one in there had my back, you know?
But if you had the opportunity, you'd be like, can I get into this company and bring BMXers into it?
Yeah, and that's like, the same thing. That's the same thing, and that's
what's scary about Etnies not having Pova, because you're like, exactly that guy.
But even the last like 5-6 years, it's like this, like you got one of the best dudes to be working for you, but like you're not letting him have like that freedom to be able to do dope stuff. So it was like, I don't know, it was just full downhill.
It's a bummer, and I don't even like. I'm trying to.
Etnies is so BMX.
Choose my words wisely.
Etnies is listening out there. If you, God, man,
yeah,
like BMX program is so huge because BMXers aren't wearing Etnies really right now.
Yeah, no.
The only ones that are skaters. Because of Chase.
I don't want to like be. I don't want to hate on them because I'm grateful for them for like, you know, the time that I had with them. But it's just like it is unfortunate to see the direction that things have gone and see how low priority BMX has become for the brand. Yeah. And it's like
when it was huge. Like,
it was massive.
Growing up, Etnies I thought was a BMX company.
Exactly.
Because they were killing it so hard like that. Yeah.
But then
it was a BMX
that
shoe
was
company.
Still, if you looked outside of it at skateboarding, that was like Ryan Sheckler time frame too. So it's
like
does Sheckler still ride?
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's got like pro model shoe that dropped last year and everything.
That's great.
They got Jocelyn pro model shoe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
always so
tough.
wild because it's like, Sheckler's like he dropped that part and it was amazing, of course, from my ignorant standpoint, like I watched it. I don't watch many skate parts, but it's like a I don't know, like an F1 car or something like that. Like, does anybody buy that? Like, does anybody buy a shoe because they sponsor Sheckler and pay him a couple $100,000 a year?
Yeah,
I don't know. Like it's like one of those. He's like one of those figureheads, but like, is he actually selling shoes?
I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen him in the wild.
I don't know.
And who knows how much he gets paid? Who knows?
Yeah.
The only people I've seen wearing those shoes get them for free.
Yeah.
Because they're definitely like $120 shoe.
Middle America type thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to like think about that stuff because in the end, as Fred's role is other people in the skate world is like they're putting money somewhere to sell shoes. And it's like, where do they think they can sell shoes and who they sponsor to sell shoes? And it's like, and sometimes it's like when Mueller, we did the Magoo podcast, which I expect nobody to listen to. Neither of you guys 5 hours long. But about 4 hours in, Mueller said something like, when you're selling stuff and you're fat and you've eaten a lot, it's fucking great. You're hiring people on and you're doing all this cool shit. And then when it leans out and you have to fucking fire people and you have to get rid of shit, it sucks. It's not fun at all. And that's
way more fun to give someone a raise.
Exactly. when everybody's plump and happy and everything's fine and dandy and you're selling a bunch of shit, it's fucking great. And you hire on new people. Devon, I'd love to give you a raise. Like that whole, you've been killing it, bud. Like,
how good is that?
And then, I'm putting you on, dude. Yeah. But when shit's not selling and Fred has to he gets a fucking shit sandwich and he has to make decisions, that sucks.
Yeah,
dude.
he was like, I don't think it was necessarily his decision.
No, yeah, and that's what
bad news, really.
Exactly.
But I get it.
Yeah.
Like,
but still, from the outside looking in, curveball.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit! I think
did.
we had our news thing, and I was like, we were just.
I didn't even know.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it definitely.
So, especially because like as like young blood goes, like
I just had like the best year of like competing. I got 2 medals and stuff. Like dropped the part for them and everything. And I'm like, yeah, we're killing it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that I was almost at that point where I was like, I might ask for a raise, and then I get dropped, dude. Like it was weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
So weird. Did they pay you the 3 months?
Nah. But then they were like, we're gonna send you your royalties for your shoe and continue to sell it. And I was like, I don't even know what to do about this. Do I tell them to stop selling a shoe with my name on it, or do I just expect?
That's crazy. Yeah, you were a little.
There's some sort of legality with that. I don't know. They probably have it in the contract somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hit up the dude that works in the back of your parents' shop.
True. if he's still alive.
Oh man. All right. Moving on from that. That is obviously, shit sandwich and all that stuff.
But you're on Colt.
It's life.
Yeah. And I think the Colt thing, I when I talked to Robbie, he was like, been trying to make this happen a long time.
I mean, we talked about it. It's funny is I've been filming with Eddie for so long and he's been like involved with Colt since the beginning pretty much. So like every time we go out ride, I'm like, dude, imagine riding for Colt and I'm like out here filming with you and the boys and everything. Like that'd be crazy. So we joked about it, pretty much just bullshitted it for years.
Yeah.
And then I think like beginning of the year, it was kind of brought up like, yo, what's up with budget? Like just kind of messing around. Like, I don't know, just talking. And then actually had like a real conversation. And then 6 months later, offer was on the table.
What's a real conversation like? Like is Robbie like, hey, come to the clubhouse, or is it like, is it in the casual in the corner of a school? Like I don't know what a real conversation is like.
No, I was like,
for the kids, office, just let them know. Let them know.
Yeah. No, I pulled up to the office and it was pretty much like, all right, what do you want? And I'm like,
did you slide up to the office of the G37?
Nah. Pulled up in the Dodge Ram. I was like, this is what I've been getting, and this is where I would like to be, and potentially do this and this and this, and all right, let's figure it out. And went back and forth a little bit and agreed on something, and it was kind of like a position that's too good to pass up. And I mean, the situation with Fly, it was like really hard to leave Fly after that whole long time.
Yeah, 10 years or something. That's just a guess. Is it really like 10 years? Probably 10 years.
I think it was 10, 11 almost. Yeah. it was a long time. So I mean, like that was pretty much my life and all I knew, and I never thought that I would be like making that decision. But I'm at a point where I'm like, all right, I'm getting older. I'm trying to make the most out of riding, and I want to be able to travel and do as much as possible. And if I'm like, I think the last trip I went on with Fly was 2019, and it's like maybe once a year I got a trip.
Even before.
Maybe go ride with Larry. He's the only other rider in America that we have.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I had like no home, no family, communication's kind of weird. There's just all little things here and there that were kind of like adding on to, like things could be better, I don't know.
I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Makes total sense. Yeah, I always saw you on Fly as like, it makes sense because you've been on for 10 years, but at the same time, it doesn't make any sense. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that makes sense is like, it must be a good relationship, but it also makes no sense at all.
I feel like I rationalized it in the sense of like, because they're all like transition style cat dudes. And I'm like, Devon is so fucking stylish. He's just like the one street dude that just like belongs, like that. Like, it was, like
it made sense.
It made sense. It made sense, but you had to like, second level makes it sense.
Cult makes sense.
Yeah. It was the era of plaza riding that was kind of coming through, and then street riding, is like not like roasting or roaster riders have ever like phased out, but you have like this new wave of tech riders coming in, and I feel like I kind of like fell into that category. And then like as a brand, it's Poe is working for them, and I'm sure he was like, if you kind of want to stay relevant with this market, you have to like kind of lean into this way.
Yeah.
And I get put on, and I grew up watching Fly videos. I grew up like loving Fly riders and loving the product. Always thought it was sick. I rode Fly frame back in the day. And in my head, I'm like, this is a dream come true. I never would have thought like I'd ride for Fly, So I was so stoked on it. And they like took care of me, and I just never thought about it until later on. Probably like 10 years later, like I never really thought. I guess there was multiple times where I see friends like going on trips and being out local filming with crews and stuff, and it's kind of weird like thinking I'm on my own almost.
Yeah. Is those trips that you did go on, was it who were you going on trips with? Like I obviously want to ask about Ruben, but like is there who were you going on trips with, and where would you go?
First trip I went on, we went to the Maraschino contest, I think, in Vigo, where Vigo is where the Fly warehouse is.
Okay.
And then we did an 18-day, I think it was 18 days, 18-day trip with a pallet ramp and set it up at a bunch of different locations.
I kind of remember that. It was kind of sick though. It was not your shit. But.
Yeah, no, the trip was tight. Honestly, I just hurt my meniscus right before that, so I still went on the trip, but I was like rarely riding.
Coasting ramp?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. But that was an interesting trip. Didn't really ride much street. I think I was actually pegless on that trip because I didn't want to like hurt my knee worse than it already was.
That's what it is. Fly is so sick, but it is so not really you.
Yeah. And then I had Courage, of course, and Courage is like, he was a great person. Every trip I went on with Courage was awesome, but it's like we go to a location and we have 7 days to film, and it's just us back to back to back. Like,
yeah,
that's the thing. Courage isn't like the transition guy at all, but he lives in Spain and he's Spanish, so it's like, okay, that makes sense, But you're like the other street rider, but you just live so far from Courage.
Yeah,
this is it. Right
here, it is sick though. It was awesome having you on the team, and their shit is so dope.
Is that you?
Probably none of this is me, actually.
God, Matt Rowe,
dude, Rowe,
yeah,
Rowe's the best. Sick dude.
Doesn't look as good on a mountain bike. I'm gonna throw it out there right now. He looks sick. He don't look Rowe sick though.
Sergio looks great on a mountain
Sergio
bike.
Looks good on a mountain bike. I will give you that.
You know who also looks really good on a mountain bike? Dan Paley.
Paley looks good too. Yeah,
he looks
Rowe just doesn't translate the same to me.
I think he looks really good on a mountain bike. I think he's just the most stylish rider ever.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Isn't that? That's what I'm saying.
Kind of sounds like you're talking shit on his mountain bike.
Well, but you could phrase it how you could take it however you want. We both said the same thing.
Young.
Yeah,
he looks better on a BMX bike. Doesn't look as good. on a fucking BMX as a mountain bike because he does a BMX bike.
I get what you mean.
That's better.
Dude, look at Courage.
Is that Courage?
Yeah.
3 pegging?
Holy
2 pegging?
shit.
Dude, he like barely spoke English at that time.
So did he, that had to be his first trip, right? Wow, Stefan. Underrated rider. Stefan is amazing bike rider.
Yeah, he's sick.
He had the first internet video that like went crazy. When
Did
you
he?
typed in BMX, his video came up.
Yeah.
I thought it was like
There wasn't the proper like Matt Miller one or something.
Matt
That
Miller,
one too.
yeah.
That one too. It was like
viral BMX.
there was one
or like
viral.
the Mike Curley or something like that.
He probably had one as well. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in that like top 10 of like if you type
that was
BMX,
sick.
his video was.
I
coming
mean,
in.
I see it. Devin, you haven't had a single clip yet.
I'm telling you, bro. I was hurt. I didn't do anything. I was chilling this trip.
I haven't seen this in a long time.
I don't think I ever watched it.
It's funny,
But it's tight though. It's sick.
It was
I watched it. I'm just joking.
I'm sure you did.
But yeah, you probably were like, what the fuck?
Dude, nowadays I'm like, if I go on a trip where I have to set up ramps locations, like
Is that you? Well, look
I
at you.
I did something.
We're going back.
Save pegless and little knee wrap.
The knee
Because
wrap.
that was right after the last.
That was crazy.
That was right after the last X Games in LA, and I was alternate, and I did a 1 bar in practice, and my knee wobbled and it ripped my meniscus.
Oh,
So I was like, I'm gonna hang out with all these fly boys and ride pegless, you know, get my steez on.
That's cool.
oh, this is the Devon section.
I miss cassette.
You know, it would have been way easier to get up on that if you used the pallet ramp.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Were you anti-pallet ramp?
Isn't Sergio just the best bike rider on the fucking
Yes,
planet?
dude,
He
look at
really
this.
is. He literally just doesn't fucking age.
He doesn't.
Watching him ride at Hastings was insane because it's like every year you go and see him and he just fucking destroys it.
He gets better.
So
He
good,
destroys it. And then he's posting those clips where he's jumping like a 40-foot jump on the mountain bike.
He's the
Like-
Gary Young of Europe.
Yeah.
Gary just
Yeah.
keeps doing that too.
That's
Gary's-
actually a good.
There's Gary and Sergio. On the other side of the
Sergio's
plane.
more stylish, though.
And it depends on what. It depends on what.
Gary more
It depends
tricks.
on what.
Gary's a bit of a hammer
Sergio,
sometimes.
I agree with you on that. Sergio's got the style. Not saying,
For
not
sure.
taking away from Gary's
sure.
style. at all,
No,
but
of course not. Yeah.
It's different styles.
Yes,
Way
totally.
different.
Yeah.
But they're both steezy as hell. But Sergio is like oozes steez. He is. Steez.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
Incredible.
was pretty sick.
This
Yeah.
place is incredible too.
Yeah, on this trip we actually stayed at like Ruben's parents' house in the middle of nowhere. It was pretty crazy.
Should
All right.
let's let Devin's new cult video play.
Yeah.
While we talk
Yeah.
about.
Sorry, you guys
know.
are done with the palette?
Yeah.
That was a joke.
I like that video though. I
is a
remember
sick
when that
video.
video came out.
Okay, so
I was like, Devin's on fly.
I have questions.
What the hell?
I have questions about the timeline. So, what
Shoot.
month are you talking? Is that meeting with Robbie?
Dude, honestly, like we talked, I think, in December, and
Okay.
it was kind of like an idea, and then stuff started getting thrown around June-ish.
Okay.
And July 1st was the agreement.
Okay, and then the announcement was like August or something like that, or
I
September.
think they announced it because we announced it. I'm pretty sure they announced it like a week or two after, because I'm pretty sure it was like right before X Games, maybe.
Okay. What point do you tell like David and all that stuff? Is there like a
I was talking to them the month leading up to it and let them know like
Okay.
I had an offer and I was thinking about doing this, and then it turned into David kind of like trying to like figure out ways to keep me on, but I was pretty
decision had pretty much been
yeah,
made.
I pretty much had my mind made up, but realistically, like I wanted to ride fly parts and keep all my signature parts, and Robbie was cool with that.
Okay, yeah.
And like I wanted to do that and ride Colt frame fork and bars.
Yeah.
And Fly felt the opposite, and they wanted me to ride their frame and ditch my parts and stuff. And I was like, dude, like it's so much easier.
What
to
they
like,
wanted you to ride
they
the
wanted
fly
you
frame and Colt parts?
Yeah,
Is anyone Colt parts?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah. That's
But
interesting because just for people that don't realize is Chase is already fly parts and
Yeah,
Colt frame.
Because that's how it's always
It's pretty
been.
dope.
It's like
It's a cool
people
little
Yeah,
like
combo.
like Ruben,
Yeah.
T1 fly.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of people that have been just fly parts because I feel like that's kind of not like anything against their frames, but like their products have been so, you know, leading the way.
I have nothing but good things to say about fly stuff. I literally
you
talked to a
BMX nerd about what parts they'd buy if they had endless money. Not that it's expensive or anything, but like
just design.
It's fly.
Design and just approach to every single thing. It just has so much thought into it. I do actually love fly bikes. I literally chose their shit.
They
for
led
years.
the way of like innovation too. It's like that was another thing why I was excited to ride for them.
Yeah,
because they're like first ones to do an investment cast. I'm pretty sure like first one to do like integrated headsets and removable brake mounts and stuff, and then. That was another thing when I rode for Eclaw. Eclaw wasn't happy with me riding for Fly because it's like you have two brands that have so much pride in their innovation on their products. And
exactly.
But they're both selling products.
They're probably battling on the back end for stuff. Yeah, that makes sense.
That didn't work out too well. So that's why the Eclaw thing is no more.
I
never really like announced that I was off. So I still have people thinking I ride for Eclaw. So that's just to clear the air. It's been a few years.
Full Colt.
Yeah, full Colt.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
tires to grips.
Exactly.
And then so that's cool that David, wanted to sort something out with you and all that stuff. And it sucks it didn't work out.
Yeah. Yeah. It was tough. It was definitely like a hard conversation to have. And it's like going through a bad relationship breakup kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, we've worked with them for so long, but then again, it's like, dude, I've probably seen David like 3-4 times in person. It's like, and like
COVID see Robbie like 3 or 4 times every month.
Exactly. I'm in the office once a week.
I've said
it's a good thing for you. It's a great
I've shown up to Linda Vista at 8:30 in the morning. Robbie's there by himself. I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, are the dudes showing up in a little bit? He's like, no, I'm just cruising. And I'm like, holy shit. Like you just drove down. What time did you wake up? Like this is crazy that you're here, So he's out there. Like you bump into him. You bump into him in the world, so
he's out there.
Yep.
Go up to Vans every weekend or every Wednesday he pulls up.
Yeah.
Get a little catch up.
Cool.
It's tight.
Well, that's obviously, I guess we could play this while it's happening, but
so I know a lot of people are like, yeah, you got to fly in this video, but it's like, I filmed the whole video and then this whole thing happened. And like, what am I was like, what am I supposed to do with the footage? Like,
I think, I think from Dennis and I's point of view, that's just the way shit happens. But I guess from the outside looking in, it's definitely,
you're gonna see some comments.
I think. Like if people understood the timeline, then they would understand.
Yeah.
But pretty much like Eddie and I started working on this. Like these clips are from last year in New York when we went to Dawn on the Street, and like we both paid out of pocket. Like I didn't ask for budget from anyone. Like I bought my own flight, he bought his own flight, and we just stayed for like 5 days extra and filmed. And we got these clips and then started working on a new project from there, and it was like pretty much near a year that we worked on this. And actually at the Japan X Games I hurt my wrist, so I couldn't even ride for a month, so I couldn't get new clips at all. So when the Colt thing happened, I couldn't get new clips on a new bike, and I was like, dude, I just want to dump this footage. Like Robbie's down to release it as a Colt video, like welcome to Colt kind of thing. And it's just, that's why it's new beginnings, just starting fresh.
Oh yeah, I think that does say something to it, like it's to be expected.
And Eddie wasn't working for Colt at this point either.
Eddie technically doesn't work for Colt. He's got a full-time job. He's just he's really involved with the program for sure though.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a mix after Vish. Like if it works that way, cool. But
I think Vish is like at the point where he's still down to help out. And Grant C's been helping out. Grant C's been helping out. Eddie's.
One.
That is so hard.
I
first try.
honestly
I'm sure
don't.
You got it quick. But
I think this one actually happened kind of quick. Surprisingly, it was really random. Just like I don't know. I was like fucking around playing with the fakie manual at that spot off the top, and then I was like, damn, I've always wanted to do like I don't like saying Indian. I call him revert now. Revert bar.
Yeah.
Oppo bar, whatever, Oppo cab bar. And yeah, surprisingly, it worked really well. And I was very, very, very happy with how it came out.
Yeah,
that clip's insane.
It's fun watching your edits when you were coming up into who you are now. So I really want to just play this one. You really are just like, there's no one like you.
There's a lot of transitions I've gone through
to make this, you know, like in the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, you definitely love Nathan.
Yeah.
You know, and then in the middle, it was like, oh, you're finding yourself, figuring out, learning tricks while you're filming. Well, I guess you did that, and you're still doing that.
I always think about.
Well, there's
that
like
too.
the drop phase and the Cindy phase and stuff like that.
You know what you want to do now.
Yeah,
and it looks so good.
Appreciate that. Yeah,
what was
unfortunately,
the edit before this that you dropped where you did like or I don't know if it was, you probably dropped 3 in between this, but you did like the manual up the transition, backwards manual. Eddie filmed it too. Another really good edit that we should watch. It's like a transition, like a white transition, I think.
I think I did.
I remember the clip.
I think I did like bar
so
manual 180 and came out straight on it.
What edit is that?
That was, I believe,
it's like 2 years ago, maybe. That is
oh no,
sick.
I know what you're talking about.
You're wearing a wife beater.
Wait, shoot, no, we might be thinking of 2 different ones.
What are you talking about?
Are you talking about the big column kind of thing? Or
I don't know. It's like the edit where when it came out, I was like, this fool was like doing it. Like you've always been doing it, but I was like, I don't know. I just loved it.
Etnies edit.
It might have been.
This is Eddie filmed most of this, right? Or half and half.
It might have been the fly video under it.
This one?
Yeah. There's some clips in the Etnies video though that like those are
we can click around.
Like the last 2 clips in that are like
here we'll go to the end
my favorites. Someone asked me recently.
Peak
like,
Devon.
This is a good.
No, I wouldn't even say peak. I have peak, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. San Diego.
Because like it's very rare that I have tricks in mind.
Damn.
That like I'm one that just goes with the flow. Like I like go into a spot and then come in with something like on the spot.
When let the spot speak to you.
Yeah, exactly. But like that crank over switch ice was something I really wanted to do on that rail because I've never done one, and I don't know if I've seen anyone really messing with those. And then this trick, I saw a photo of the spot and I would like, oh wow, this would be good for this combo, and like never been to the spot, and then just started trying it. And I was like, oh my god, it's possible. Oh man,
you put out about a video a year. Has that been your average?
Kinda, yeah. Because I mostly just film with Eddie, and Eddie works 9 to 5 pretty much, like Monday through Friday. So it's like we go out on weekends, so we get what we can. But I'm like,
it's a good recipe though.
Yeah, I was talking to him last night actually because we just filmed a video for like Urban World Series, like a 60-second timeline for a video contest. And
Urban World Series. What is that?
It's
Do you know what that is?
I wrote a contest.
I literally saw you post it and tag it though today.
I wrote a contest in Barcelona, and I guess they do they're doing their first video contest thing, and got thrown in the hat for that.
Huh.
Colt's a sponsorship of it, so I think me and AK are doing videos for it, and pretty much like this last the organized crime jam, like Eddie and we stayed a day before and like filmed some stuff in Vegas for a day, and just been going out weekends before trying to get 60 seconds. And
how much do you win? What's the deal with it?
I think you win like $2,000, but after taxes and stuff, it's
$6. No, I'm joking. So that's the deals. Sorry.
It gets taxed pretty heavily.
Yeah.
I won the street contest that they had because we were like, well, after Hastings, we went to Barcelona and did the Colt trip.
Oh yeah.
And Mickey was like, I'm organizing this contest. Like, you guys need to ride. Like, asking me and Began to ride it. And I was like, fuck it, I'll ride it. Yeah. I'm down, and ended up winning it. And it was like $2,000 first place. And I think after taxes, it was probably like 1,500.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's it.
But
that's
taxes.
Dude. That's taxes you pay. That's taxes you
ride
pay.
a contest in the middle of a trip.
Does that go to Spain?
It's a nice day's work.
I think it's Spain, Texas.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how it works out. Yeah, I might.
I don't think you have to pay the US.
I'm pretty sure I had it go straight into my personal, so I'm like, I'm not claiming it because it's like it's already taxed. I ain't taxing it again. Screw that.
Well, just for I don't think you don't get taxed on that again because
feel
it's
weird
income.
talking
It's
about
income for but
tax
you're gonna get in
stuff
trouble
on the record right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay taxes on it for sure.
You should pay taxes.
Don't worry.
Yeah, because you will pay taxes.
I'm good about paying taxes because even like I've had people tell me like, oh yeah, you just get wire transfer.
This is it.
God,
This is the best
thought you had in mind.
I love this video.
You are cruising on that.
I love that clip.
Because there's a lot of people that like told me because when I was getting paid from Fly, it was wire transfer, and they were like, oh yeah, you probably could get away without claiming that. I'm like, that's sketchy.
Yeah.
Not like it was a whole bunch of money. Like I'd be like targeted.
That was so sick. So perfect.
I hit the ground good on that one.
No, it's good. It's good to talk about that shit though, because I mean, it's funny because I would never think like a Devon podcast we'd be talking a lot about sponsors and
taxes.
And it's like taxes. But it's cool though because you're.
I mean,
because you're someone who's come out here, you love riding, but you came out here and you make a living riding, so you have to figure it out. There's no rule book, there's no nothing.
And you make you sometimes you learn by making mistakes.
Hell yeah,
and that's the thing.
Or other people's mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. So
know what not to do.
Was this so? This is your last video part before
this is Fly. Yeah,
the 2020 part.
2020? Yeah, I think this was the last. Actually,
that bike is just going.
I love this.
I could catch it.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Love that one.
Yeah. All right, back to the Colt part. Not that we got that much left, but signature frame obviously dropped like last week or something.
Yeah,
right?
That one's actually that was kind of random. Like the signature frame was on the table from the beginning.
Yeah,
but they were like, "Hey, we have this frame coming out. It's got this geometry, whatever." And I was like, damn, that looks sick. Like, I want to ride one. Yeah. And then ended up riding one. And I was like, freaking love this thing. Like, if I were to make a frame, it would be this geometry and everything. But Andrew Schubert actually is the one who basically designed the frame and gave them the idea of like, you have the shorty frame, you guys should have a biggie. So that's where the idea kind of came from. And in my head, I'm like, dude, Biggie's sick. Like, that's tight.
Yeah.
I've always grown up like East Coast rapper kind of person. I've always loved Biggie. I've always been like Biggie over Pac kind of thing. Nothing against Pac. Pac's a great artist, but like it's just preference. But I thought the graphics were sick and everything, and I was like, dang, you could throw like a Smiley logo on there, and and they were like, I basically had the option to take over the frame, and I was like, I don't want to change the graphics or anything. Like, I love this thing how it is. So if anything, I don't know, down the road we could probably do something different, but I absolutely just loved it how it was. So
I mean, it's like too perfect.
Yeah,
like Biggie Smiley. Like I literally it was
we
like
were on the
fence.
Sense. Like, do we do like Biggie Smiles?
Yeah.
Or like,
but
no. Then I might go over someone's head, not know it's me or something. So I was like, I'll just throw my name on there, and it looks good behind the little Biggie logo too. So
it does for sure. Cool. Yeah, I mean that's
so it just like jumped ahead of the process of waiting a year for having a frame drop.
Yeah.
So like it was like, all right, I could take over this one that I really, really like. It was like almost meant to be.
Well, that's I think that's kind of what I was getting at. And then meant to Biggie. And then that's kind of what I was asking about the timeline. Because I was like, it seemed like it was all like lined up. You know what I mean? Like that. When did the conversation happen? When do you talk to David? When does the frame come into play? When is it? Because it all was like, pop, 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 pop. Dude, which I expect from Robbie because he's been in the game for a long time and he's smart and he knows what to do. Like, and obviously, I also knew because you were riding that's the bike that you lost in Hastings.
Yeah,
it was a signature. It was the prototype frame and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, okay, signature frame coming soon. So. It makes sense.
Yeah,
but it's
they kind of like leak some hype on there or something.
A little bit. I think it got. I think it made it on there. I don't know if it did or not. But I guess was I did have this question as I knew in the news thing that I said I questioned it via my oldness is that I was like this fucking switch ice. I just felt like that was the last clip, and then I was confused. And I was like, why is this one the last clip?
MBD, man.
Is it?
Manual over switch pegs?
I mean,
I don't
I
know.
have no idea.
We were kind of going back and forth, but
Yeah.
like I did the manual over switch pegs.
Yeah.
Got that clip and then did the switch ice whip.
Okay.
Because that's at the same school. Yeah.
Oh.
I just started riding the flat ledge
Same
after.
day.
Yeah. I didn't have ideas when I went there. I just like, I was riding that little ledge.
Good
Milky
Yeah.
did like full cab over switch pegs.
Okay.
Or like, I don't know.
I remember-
he's
yeah, I saw
goofy,
that
So
clip.
I don't
Yeah, I
know.
saw-
It's like over full cab over pegs.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I've always like, I've done manual over switch pegs. And now it's kind of just like, I don't know. I've always been like the tech ender kind of
Yeah.
guy. And I'm not trying to do like banger.
Yeah.
And in my head, I like Eddie and I decided like this clip isn't, it's not what someone would expect at all. You watch an ice clip and it's like, well, what's he going to do out of the ice? Whip or bar,
Are we at that point where you expect whips out of ices?
I mean-
I don't know. I literally, I was like a curved ice ledge. I was like, it could be fucking hard 3, like because it's a regular spin or is it, like I had no idea. And it was just like the way you fucking preloaded for the pop. And it was like, it was so good. I was like,
Thank you.
why was that
hyped
not
on
a
that.
last clip? Like I was just confused. But
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying though. It's like probably so hard to pick.
Yeah.
The last one is like
I just didn't feel like as sick as the ice whip was, and like I was stoked on it because I'd never even done an ice whip. That was the first one I'd done. I just like it happened so randomly, but like in my head, I wasn't as hyped on that clip as I was the manual over switch
fair
pegs.
enough. Yeah. That's
Because the manual over switch pegs like
it's your
was such
banger.
a mental battle. Like I was freaking out. Like I've manualed so many times before I actually tried to get into the over pegs.
Yeah.
Because it's just as
that's
little
like a
as
trick
that setup
nobody
is.
does already.
Yeah.
As
yeah,
little
I
as
get
the
it.
setup
Such a rare
is, you
one.
just have that thing in the back of your head that's like.
Except for Devon does it in contest,
Yeah.
not with the
Yeah.
manual.
No,
that
But
manual.
Like, you are
Yeah.
really fucking
But
good.
I
at
got
that trick.
served on this trick recently. Like I was trying to, I've been, I don't know. I tried down like a real size rail and yeah,
I was wondering if you're gonna take it to a rail, like a real one.
I'm trying to, but it's hard. Man.
It's
like,
that trick's like a.
I feel like
oh,
it's
I
like
got it. Then bam, I
yeah,
don't got
it's
it.
just, it's like hard to lock into. Like you hop into it and it just you want to get out immediately because that over switch pegs going backwards.
Yeah, because I've seen you do them so much on like plaza rails, and you just boom, boom, you do them like nothing. So it's hard to lock into. Huh?
Yeah,
Gotta see it. Watch the ice again. You just like frozen for the last like 18 feet and then it just pops. Like it literally, that is the craziest clip to me.
I feel like that's the thing with video
But
parts nowadays too, though. It's like, it's like you don't need that like banger. Like you could just be whatever, really. Like
When it's all good.
That's
Is that
yeah,
right?
exactly.
You know what
it's
I mean? Like
just
yeah.
whatever you felt like
Yeah.
the last clip was
Yeah.
the best on.
I'm not much of a banger writer. Like you guys know this. Like it's always going to be something kind of techie in a way. So
Yeah.
I like I tried getting a banger for this and it didn't work out. So we were like, dude, let's just finish it. Let's put it out and start fresh.
One topic
You
I
don't
had
just find a taller roof.
well, that's the thing.
Oh,
You
that
know-
was 2 feet taller.
Well, that's the thing is like when you say we have these like style riders, and it's like I always call it the danger banger, where they have this whole like 3-minute, 4-minute section of like this style of riding, and then at the end they like tail whip off like an 8-foot roof, and you're like, oh, okay, that's your banger because it was dangerous, like you're like kind of stood out. Like you should just like stay authentic the whole time, like it doesn't. Like, as somebody who watches videos all the time, and you're like, oh, well, you just kind of did the danger thing at the end. Like, I need a banger. Let me go right off a roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
know?
it's really not as hard as any of the other stuff you did in your
Yeah, like there's other stuff that's like way more authentic to your style of riding that you don't need to like do a departure from. And it's just like, I always credit me not understanding.
That's kind of like, I am not one to do a danger banger at all.
Yeah.
But I get stoked when people that like see that last clip, like when Dax saw it for the first time, for instance, he was like, dude, what the hell, manual over switch pegs? Like you're crazy.
Yeah.
And like someone gets me, like then, that's like, I don't know. It's in my head, it was difficult and I hope other people see it the same way as I do, but it might be too much for someone to kind of see where I'm coming from, I guess.
Long to get to that point. Like even watching your first Osiris edits, you were doing switch over pegs, you know? Like, and that was so long ago.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's why that means so much to you.
Yeah.
Like, that it is that, like, it's like at your pinnacle of riding right there. Like that trick is like, all right, that was mine. Like the switch ice whips, like you can switch ice, you can whip.
I know plenty of people that can switch.
That's what I'm saying.
I like that. That was I understood.
Yeah,
it.
Exactly.
I fucking understand that trick.
And I said this in the news article. I said this in the news podcast. I was like, I don't know if this is my oldness that is like making me not understand it, but I would love to understand it, and I want to understand it.
That trick you did is hard.
Exactly. And I assume that's like
switch whip's very hard too. Yeah, but it's more like ice. I got it. I got what he did right there. I saw it. That was a nice whip.
Yeah. That's
I was stoked on the ice whip though. It's funny though, because I got that
second
trick.
Last clip. Hell yeah.
It's like Tetris versus Fortnite or something like that. I have no idea what
Fortnite
happens.
all day.
You play Fortnite, right?
All day.
Yeah.
You're a Tetris guy, aren't you?
No, I'm a fucking Tetris guy. That's right, 100%. Wait, you see the system right there? Look, it's
I saw the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, the Super Nintendo right there.
That was my first system.
Literally, the Super Nintendo. We bought that like 2 months ago, and we hide it from the kid. So my wife and I come and we play go-kart.
Does he not know what it is?
We just don't want to play video games. You saw his innocence. My
wife
preserve
doesn't want me playing video games.
Preserve it. Yeah. Fuck, I had another topic.
Let the kids play the fucking games.
Preserve their innocence. Preserve their innocence.
Tetris is innocent.
It is.
Am I saying too much?
No, you're good.
It's a great podcast. I love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a great conversation.
I want to say it. Yeah,
it is a podcast people listen to.
I want to say enough, but not like too much to where I piss people off.
No, you haven't.
I feel like someone could be mad at me right now, but
I'm the one that's lost. I've lost future advertising dollars. I'll have to send Fred this link with the time code and be like, "Hey, first before you you even consider this advertising deal,
I'm gonna talk to Fred right now.
You have to see this segment on the Devon box.
Fred, don't you fucking drop BMX, you son of a bitch.
It's not Fred.
I'm not worried about.
I'm not gonna say Fred is actually Fred is behind the program, but
Fred is he's a nice dude. It's funny. It is funny.
You're the man, Fred, but don't do it. Don't do it.
I've lost a lot of money on this podcast.
It's unfortunate. I'm sorry.
Okay. It's all right. Hopefully made some
money.
Yeah.
In the long run, it's an investment.
Yeah, it is an investment. It's an investment in YouTube. Drifting, bike riding, drifting.
We were just talking about video games.
We did. Well, you said you got good at drifting via the simulator.
Yeah,
and I'm jealous of the simulator, but
you should get one.
I should. They're expensive, dude. Can you build one for me? How much do they cost?
I started out real simple. You can buy like a Logitech wheel for like $400, and I played that. That's like 3 pedals, shifter, and wheel. But that's like your basic budget system that has like Hall sensors and all sorts of little gear driven.
Yeah.
And then the next step up is going something that's belt driven. It has a lot more realistic force with like no delay or anything. And then you want to get a PC. PC's the move. Because whenever you play, the only game that I play is Assetto if it comes to the drifting, because it's just free roam, free world with everything. It's everything's mods.
Yeah,
and you have to download these mods. You can pretty much download any track you can think of.
Mods like literally like modding the car.
No, modding the game. You like people create like 3D models of different tracks and I can
streets and
like the track I drive. Apple Valley, like there's numerous different versions that people have created, and you just download them, and like you can find public lobbies where people are on them randomly. So I can go practice in a car that's similar to mine and go practice the layout of the track. And it's like, it's crazy how realistic it really feels. Because it's like, it's not, you don't have the weight of the car and like the transition and everything and the G-forces, which is like the biggest thing to get used to when you're first getting into the seat.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the skill of what to do with your wheels, like your feet and your hand with shifting and everything. So by the time you gain the confidence to start tossing the car around, you're going to have...
It's kind of ingrained in you.
Yeah, like everything clicks so much quicker. But that's the issue, is like getting the confidence to be like, all right, I'm going 70 into this entry in third gear right now. Like I'm about to just flick this car as hard as I can, opposite way, like into the wall to bring it back the other way. And that's like a crazy thing to get over. But in a video game, there's like no consequences. You just do it. But like you've done it so many times, you know you can do it. So you just kind of like feel your way into it and like start just like throwing it harder and harder. But
are you still into it? Because I feel like you at least outwardly put it out that you were doing it pretty regularly. And I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't been on it as much lately. So like honestly, ever since the cult thing happened, I've been just like so geeked out on BMX. Like I haven't been doing anything. Like I have my dirt bike I never ride. I barely skate anymore, and I have the drift car. Like I was going snowboarding a lot last season too, but yeah, I think last track day I actually had was in like March or April, and like I filmed GoPro footage, and I got like some of the best entries I've ever filmed, like some of the best laps, and like have like good hand control and everything. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna post a thing on Instagram, and never posted
just lost it.
Yeah. I have it.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Like, I'm like just sitting on it, like I'll post it one day. You know, like I don't know. I don't know if that's what people want to see. Like I don't know, but I still watch it and show people if I'm like, yeah, I drift, blah blah blah. Like check this, you know. I love doing it, but it's one of those things where it's like you have to wait for a track day to come along. Like I'm not trying to rent the track. Wait for an event where friends are hosting. Go tag along. Make sure you have tires set up. Drive 2 hours there. I've never trailered my car there. I've been like 20 events, and it's a 2-hour drive each way.
Yeah.
Drive there. Hope that I don't break my car and make it home. And it is just like the longest day ever.
What about
it's a lot of fun, but it is a process.
What about like kind of the legal aspect of it?
I don't do that.
No.
Nah.
Because I like Caleb, like Quambeck, when he was in Long Beach and stuff like that, he would take me to those like industrial areas.
I used to do that like when I first, because the first car that I had that I kind of was like throwing around was the G35 sedan. And like, I think Ethan had like a Miata at the time. And this was when we lived in Huntington, and both of us would like go out if it rained. We only went when it rained, and we just kind of like be quiet in some industrials around Huntington. And that was fun, you know, but it's like you go hit it for a couple minutes and then just dip. And it's like you're
don't
not
learn
learning much. It's like it's just a thrill.
Is there like a avenue there? Is there like sponsor, you know, like I don't know. Yeah.
Not really. I think most people that do it like
it's really close to BMX. It
just takes money. Yeah. Like that's the thing. It's like the people, like these guys that even drive Formula Drift like pro, they're spending, I think it's like $300 grand a season just to run.
Yeah.
To like have your car, you know, crew, paying everyone, staying everywhere. Like it's crazy how like much the breakdown is, and then that's. You're hoping that you win. Like, I don't know. It's there. I don't think
you hoping you win $30,000, which is the prize.
I don't know what
like
the purse is, but it's definitely like I know a lot of guys are probably out of pocket with what they're putting in for sure.
Unless you're like Von Gittin or something like that.
Yeah, they got Ford back in them. Like that's crazy. Yeah, like a lot of people don't have like an actual car manufacturer.
I guess it all circles back. But like I did a DC shoes trip back in the day. Shout out to Eric Deliri, who was the TM back then, but it was before like drifting was anything. And it was like went and did like, I guess a couple of dudes rode BMX, like a dude named Jason, I want to say. I don't know his name, but they legitimately rode BMX.
Drifter?
Yeah, and they were like it was like Formula D Jersey track, and they all just like took us around, and it was like Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, Jeremiah is really good. He was like, always into drifting. Mark Webb's another one.
It was just like a weird DC trip where we just like went out and did stuff like that. But we like hung out with all those dudes.
Surprised at how many people.
But they were all losing money. They were literally they were like, we don't make any money.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm pretty sure it's still like that.
Yeah,
it's just that fun.
Yeah, I've had so many people ask me like, "What do you want from this?" I'm like,
"Rip your car around,
dude." It is like there's nothing like it. Like it's hard to explain. It's crazy because it's. Especially when you get like comfortable and gain the confidence, I don't know. It's like riding in a way. It's like
just
freestyle.
Doing a burnout. It's like the funnest thing ever. You're just doing a burnout forever, kind of.
Imagine,
right?
Imagine doing a burnout sideways, but you're like finessing the car. Yeah. You know, and like you toss the car when you transition. It's like doing a bar spin. It's crazy. It feels so cool. And then like knowing that you're in control of this thing that's out of control is another feeling. So I don't know.
I don't know anything about drifting, but it has to be like a huge thing where people are like, there's like a scene. Like if you get good enough, like, you know, like everyone's spending all their own money to do it for fun, but it seems like the funnest thing ever. So there's not like I feel like tour to get on or like
there's tons of like events and stuff that happen, but I mean, it's like you gotta kind of have the money because you're paying out of pocket and you need like a vehicle.
So you need a crazy sponsor to get you in there, right? Like rally car, like Brandon Simonuk, he's in there because he's fucking good, but he has like sponsors.
He's like the best though.
He's the best.
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying, isn't it like
watch a Brandon Simonuk Unclicked podcast where I ask a bunch of dumb questions. Apparently, the comments
questions are good.
The comments on that are insane. They hate me there because I don't know anything about mountain biking. So I'm just asking the ridiculous questions. I almost said a bad word.
I know. Yeah, got it though. Good man.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, is it like rally car where it's like you can become that and like
I think
be on these tours and do this stuff?
Rally car, just rally stuff in general, I think is a little bit more. I think there's just more money in it in general.
Okay.
I mean, let's be real.
It seems more fun.
Motorsports is a rich man sport.
Yeah.
If you don't have a deep bag, if you don't,
100%,
100%. If you do, yeah.
Okay.
Or yeah,
it is. That's what I said. Like it is similar in the sense.
It's very grassrooted.
So like everyone's doing it for fun, and a couple people get a little sponsor and can do it.
And like it's very few. I think a lot like they do a lot of like pro-am events and stuff like that, but there's not like there's a ton of money being thrown around or anything. It's more just to get like noticed, I think.
Okay.
I personally don't know enough because I don't want anything to do with competing, but I think it would be fun. But like I hear so many weird things like
I could tell you just love it, and I was just wondering, like genuinely asking what's up with it. So
I don't know enough.
Okay.
I just like driving. It's sick.
I saw when you were talking about burnouts, your eyes rolled in the back of your head.
You were like,
you were doing some shit. I was like, oh, he just wants to fucking.
So do you get, when you get tires, do you just buy like cheap ass, like thin, do you buy thin tires? Do you buy just like used tires or like, what do you do?
The first couple of times, I think the first time I went, I brought used tires and they burn out so quick.
Yeah.
And I learned my lesson. I got it down now. It's like you buy a new set of tires. I used to buy like Lionhearts or Acceleros or
it's like super off brand.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends who work at like tire places and they can get me like costs on tires.
Yeah.
But recently a buddy was like, you need to try these Kenda Kara 20As or whatever. Apparently they're like the longest lasting tire. And it's weird. You got to do like the whole heat cycle thing. So you do like a few laps or whatever, cool them down. I'm sure you know about that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, the first few times I went, I was just like hot lapping because my car, it's just like a stock Z. You never have issues. It's pretty much just like all suspension stuff done to it. And it's like perfect seat time car. You could drive that thing all day and it's not going to overheat. And I went through tires so fast and they started delaminating and bubbling up and stuff. And then I learned that you need cool down laps. I started doing that. And then now I have like one of those little like pressurized water sprayers. So like I do a few laps, pull off, pop the back end up and like spray my tires down to cool them down and like get back out there.
Crazy.
But I'll just bring like a fresh set of tires because I can fit 2 wheels in the back of the Z with all my tools and stuff. So I just drive out there with a fresh set and then like really just make sure I'm not overheating the tires too much and get like 25 laps.
That's crazy. 25 laps is a lot. Yeah.
Pretty good amount. Yeah. I'll like sometimes I'll like not even do the rest of the track because I know I could link the whole rest of the track. I'll just go and like throw the entry in the first few corners and then like cut the track and then chill and then like work on the entry because that's like the main thing that I want to get really comfortable with.
Yeah.
Just like hucking it.
That's cool. That's funny. It's funny how similar it is, you know, like in the sense of BMX and just like I don't really give a fuck. I just want to like work on what I want to work on, and I don't want to. I don't need to work on the whole thing. I just want to work on the part, like, you know,
something that makes you happy.
Yeah, it's cool. I've met a lot of really cool people through it, and you'd be like shocked at how many people from drifting either have like ridden or skated.
Yeah, before, I mean, like still do. Peraza's brother Eddie. Yeah, you know, like Eddie's been.
Eddie's gotten so good too, like very very quickly.
Yeah.
But it's just something different, and it's another like outlet for you to, you know, get a rush doing something and like you're learning something new, progressing. But and I remember when I first started, I was like getting all into cars and stuff, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're gonna do this Adam LZ thing," and like nothing against Adam LZ. I think he's sick. I love what he's doing, but it's like I'm still love riding. Like, and then the deeper I got into drifting, the less I care about the cars, the more I care about just driving. And I wouldn't even really. I guess I'm a car guy, but I'm not like a car nerd or whatever.
You're about driving, not the car.
Now I go to a car show and I'm like, do you guys even like use these how they're supposed to be used? You know, like I don't know. I just think drifting is sick. Rally's sick. Motorsports are sick.
Motorsports are sick.
Yeah.
Rich man sport though. Rich man sport, unfortunately.
So, I do the broke boy motorsport thing.
That's understandable.
Buy a salvage title car and just go weld the diff and sling it.
I guess home life. I mean, the recent marriage, chilling with the like. I feel like you mentioned Dak showing that clip. You showed when Dak saw that clip. I feel like now you have this like direct connection to Dak, and you have this direct connection to Eddie. You know, direct connection to Castaneda and all the whole other crew that's like around. I assume that like, just,
I mean, you got like
sessions.
Preston and Richie too. They're like up and comers for Colt as well. So, but even like Eddie, I've always like had ties with. We've always been homies, and then Dak was probably one of the first people that I really hung out with when I moved to Huntington. So I've known Dak for years now, probably like 10 years or so. So it's surreal to think like we're teammates at this point. It's pretty insane.
Oh yeah,
but
long time coming. Perfect fit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make the most of these years left, you know?
I think I heard
I think it's just like at an age, you just want it to be right. You know,
that's like, definitely where I got.
Even with your video parts, you know, and like what you're doing now, you're like, I want it. It's not like you say the years to come or whatever, but you doing this is going to make those years more fun and way longer lasting. Doing exactly what feels right to you. Where like all these people that are around you, you're like, why don't we all just like do more together? And that's you being on Colt.
Yeah. No more questioning what it would be like if I did this or that.
I've heard I think I heard Dak tell me, he was like, it's been a long time coming, or maybe it was Robbie, one of the two. And I was like, fucking makes sense. Yeah.
I think Robbie said like literally like 3 years or something ridiculous like that. Like when I was talking to Hastings, you know, like, so
3 years of,
he just like the first mention, you know, like where he was like, how sick would it be if Devon rode for Colt? I think that was the first
it's probably been 3 years that it's been kind of a joke.
They were probably having the conversation around you, and you had no idea.
Yeah,
you know.
Maybe.
So
I don't know. I don't think 3 years ago I probably wasn't thinking like I'd be able to just abandon ship on fly or anything at that time. So timing worked out on all this.
Timing is important. San Clemente, Haley, you got a bunch of dogs.
Yeah.
Living life.
Haley's killing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just do whatever she says. No, she's.
I know what you mean though. You have a woman with a job and a real career, and you get to float around, and that's kind of like my aspect of it too. Is that I get to do the same. My wife has a real job.
Yeah. Well, I just mean in a sense of like dogs.
Oh, dogs. yeah.
She's really big into rescue work.
Oh, okay.
And like fostering and that sort of thing. So I think it's been like in the last maybe less than a year, we've had like 6 dogs throughout our house that have either been pulled from shelters or found new homes and everything. So it's like our house has been like a revolving door for foster dogs at this point.
Is it hard to give them up?
Well, Bruce, our pit that we've had for 3 years, was supposed to be in our house for 2 days. So I mean, like, a foster failure happens, but we actually lost our girl Honey beginning of this year. She was also a rescue that has been in Haley's family for like over 10 years. And we had her for the last 5 years of her life. But after that, Haley was like, I really want to like just continue, you know, helping out with other dogs. And if anything were to happen, if like we have one dog come in that we just can't say no to, then like we'll have to figure it out. But she really wants to help pulling new dogs in and like finding them new homes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got another dog we're picking up on Monday. It's like a black and white female pit bull, Emily, from Downey Shelter. So yeah, it's definitely a lot because it's kind of like like, man, I just went on a trip, and like a couple of days before I left on a trip, I wake up and she's like, "You're gonna hate me." I'm like, what? Will you go to Downey and pick up this dog today? I'm like, oh my God. Like I can't, I don't want to say no, you know, like I want to support her fully in these decisions, but it's like,
what kind of dogs are they? Dogs that just got lost and they don't have a home, or are they bad dogs?
We haven't had any bad dogs, so I don't know where. It's kind of just like dogs. Pretty much all of them.
How does she kind of fall in love with them to be like, Devon, go pick this dog up?
They're all dogs that are like set to be euthanized.
But isn't there like a billion set to be euthanized? How'd she pick like one?
So I think some of the rescues and stuff that she follows, like she comes across a lot of stuff on social. She does it to herself. Like she chooses to do this to herself.
We have an old neighbor that is like a super close friend now that essentially does this. She shares this stuff all the time where it's like, it's just a story, you know, and sometimes it catches you, you know, and you're like,
I've caught her, like I've walked into the room and she's crying over. I'm like, you can't keep doing this to yourself, you know, like.
So she finds this dog.
She's got a big heart.
Story.
Yeah,
she has a big heart. She finds a dog that has a story, and she's like, "Let's save this one."
Yeah,
because there's got
pretty much.
So many. How would you go to a pound and pick one? They're all gonna get euthanized.
You contact a bunch of rescues to see if any rescues are looking to like pick these dogs up or have any homes or temporary fosters or whatever, and then like bottom line, if there's nowhere for this dog to go, then like they figure something out. But yeah, it's
amazing.
I don't think there's like been any dog that she's came across on social media or that's been like promoted through stories or whatever that like has been euthanized. I think all of them have pretty much been pretty like taken care of. I know there's like tons out there that on the daily that deals with, and it's like heartbreaking to think about, but you know, she's just doing her little part.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Like, one dog at a time kind of thing.
So amazing like, what she's doing.
It gives her purpose, you know,
just wondering like, how does she find that dog?
Yeah, it's always just through rescues that she follows, and like everyone in that whole community, especially like in this Southern California area, is like all connected. Cool. So it gets around quick.
If a bunch of people are doing it, like what she's doing, that's a lot of dogs getting saved.
Yeah. You don't need to buy a dog.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean,
get a dog for
sometimes free. You have to pay because depending on like what rescue they're coming from.
Pay for pounds, but it's just
you know like I mean. Bruce cost $20, something like that, 21 and some change. But he's the best dog we could ever got. Because Bruce was supposed to be.
What about the bad dogs? She's never like, you gotta get this one, Devon. No one will take it. It's really bad. That hasn't happened yet.
I don't know.
I think
a lot of pounds, and
if they're aggressive and stuff like that, they just don't. They don't.
No
one of the first.
I think they know when they post that stuff.
Yeah. One of the first fosters we ever brought home was a dog aggressive Great Dane, and it was like this dog had separation anxiety. If I tried to leave, the dog's clawing and like trying to destroy the place. So like I put him in a crate, broke out of a crate. And
Dennis can relate to this story.
Oh yeah,
no,
I understand. But yeah, it was it was rough. Like we just basically with having a 3.5 pound Chihuahua and our other girl Honey in the house, it was like we can't have this dog. So they basically found another home for the dog of someone who basically is in a single home environment to kind of like take care of them from there. And
but that's what fostering is.
Yeah,
that's literally it's finding the right. It's not. It's a bad dog.
The
it's
dog came from the shelter and got pulled straight to us.
It's finding the right home for the dog. And that's the thing is that's what sometimes those like shelters can't do. Is they when it gets and
it's a bad environment for them. It's just like
and it's hard. I mean, we had to give up a cat. We had to give up a cat recently, and it was like we were just hoping that it goes to a single, it just needs to go to a quiet house, you know, and that's it. And we had the cat for 7 years. Yeah. It was super hard to do.
We want a cat so bad, but we know Bruce is like, he's got that prey drive, which is weird. He's like, he has a prey drive towards a cat, but then we have a 3.5 pound Chihuahua who's like
same size,
the biggest little dude ever. And he just like, they cuddle on the same bed together all the time. It's so weird.
Yeah. Anything else we missed?
Probably a million things, but
probably a million things.
At some point, we got to say goodbye, podcast.
What else is there?
At some point, you gotta say bye bye, and we'll just do another one. That's a great thing.
We got like 3 more hours left. No,
we can.
Yeah, I mean, we're 2 hours short of 5. So
we've gone for 3 hours.
That's 2 hours. Well, I think we started like 20 minutes in, so 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not too bad.
I was thinking like hour and a half or something.
No.
So, no, I had some stuff to say. That's good. Well, I'm trying to think what else is there. I definitely got some stuff, but I don't know what stuff.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean,
no.
Go ahead.
The Magoo podcast was the easiest one ever because I didn't ever say a single fucking thing. It was Moeller and Magoo.
Oh God, I could imagine.
It's an entertaining 5 hours. YouTube didn't like it though. Got limited.
That sucks.
Yeah. Because
goddamn YouTube. YouTube's great. But
apparently he said the F word, the bad F word.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it, but somebody commented because I was kind of confused by it, and I was like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Back from that.
Yeah. So, but 5 hour podcast, you missed that. So.
Yeah, you sure you didn't want to go through that?
A different generation. He said it. I didn't say it. Like, what am I going to say? Don't say that. Like
one strike.
I caught myself on the R word.
Still,
I don't say that.
Yeah, true.
Words are terrible, but fucking stop censoring shit.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I think.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, not who cares. Bad words suck and they hurt people, but like fucking watching someone explode on TV sucks too, and that shit flies.
Yeah.
Like just let people watch it. Rated R. Put a rated R.
Real, though,
well, that's what limited is.
Speaking of stuff being real, has your guys' Instagram feeds been like live leak lately?
Have been what?
Live leak?
What's that?
Like crazy uncensored stuff.
I haven't seen that.
Well, the Gaza stuff.
I get a crazy car accident all the time.
Yeah, no, mine's like people getting ran over by cars and stuff. Like no warning or anything.
So I do that. If you click the 3 dots, it'll say remove.
It knows how suggest.
It will say do not suggest me new posts for 30 days. So I do that every single 30 days.
From
whatever
I do, if
I do
through.
Just like my normal feed, it'll like so start suggesting like accounts to you and stuff.
See, I don't.
So I just remove all that shit.
I click one reel and then I start scrolling.
Oh, the shit scrolling.
Yeah. And then it knows that I watched this 30-second video and I'm like, oh my God, watch this, showing it to someone else, and then it's like, you really like this car accident video. Yeah. We're gonna show you more, and then you start scrolling.
Do you like those videos?
You watch them?
I don't know.
Well, case in point, you do.
But do you like them?
Yeah,
it knows if you watched it 3 times.
If you watch if you watch a video 3 times, it's going to show you a different video that falls in the same category.
It knows what you don't like, and it knows where you're like, whoa, watch this.
I get a lot of the shock value for sure.
Yeah,
keeps my attention.
There's definitely if you imagine the algorithm as like a group of people, you're like. They're like,
dude, they're just feeding it to
they
you.
feed you and they're like, what about we give him a fucking car accident? And they go, does he watch it? Did they watch it? They go, yeah, he fucking watched it twice. And they're like, throw him another one. Does he watch it? Yes. And then that's the algorithm. It's just a group of people just throwing shit at you.
But way smarter than people.
Random algorithm being car accidents.
They just never stop.
All sorts of accidents.
Yeah. Yeah. So
there's like gun.
Does he like
shots and
does he like crazy stuff on there? Does he like butts?
It's crazy.
Yeah, there's people getting shot on my feed. I'm like,
oh yeah, you can let your whole feed get crazy. You got to.
You can say you can say that though. You can say you can say not interested. You could hit the 3 dots and say no, I'm not interested in this. Because it's like violent.
He likes it though. He likes it. That's why he's like,
fair enough. Yeah, we're getting deep.
We're
getting
deep
right now.
Man. I don't know.
Yeah.
The best thing if you want to get to know somebody is like, hey, let me see your popular page.
Yeah, let me see your explore page right now.
Yeah, true.
Or the TikTok for you page.
I'm not a TikToker. You go on TikTok?
No. The basic is no. Yeah, we have like 3,000 followers on there. I'm trying.
Nice.
James is doing his work.
I was into TikTok for a second, and then I had one video that did a lot better than the others, and I was like, shh, I'm out.
Yeah.
You just left it alone?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And Eddie was like, yeah, you know that they kind of like generate views for you to get sucked into it. And I was like, screw these guys. I'm out.
Yeah.
But
they're very censored too.
Yeah. I just
don't like bike riding. Yeah, if you do dangerous stuff.
I got flagged recently.
Yeah.
I just don't want to like have to redo building an algorithm on TikTok for me to scroll. I'm fine with my Instagram scrolls.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you, Devon.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. Yeah, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too.
I'm so psyched for you to come down.
You're the man.
Thank you, boys.
Congrats on everything. Congrats on Colt. Congrats on fucking,
Wife,
dogs.
Thank
cool
you,
wife.
thank you.
Yeah.
Wife
Yeah,
seems
no, we got a
awesome.
good life right now. Yeah, I got no
San
complaints.
Clemente.
I'm
San
happy.
Clemente is not a bad place.
For those who don't
Very
know,
beautiful
Great place to
San
go.
Clemente
Very
is literally
beautiful
right in between San Diego and LA, and it's separated by a crazy military base. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
It's the closest.
it's like you are in San Diego, but there's this like
It is-
we're talking about bombs and nuclear shit. People are like, "What in the fuck?"
Yeah.
the
That's our
furthest
Yeah.
our
southern
ignorance
point
stuff.
of Orange County. That's the way I describe it. Is like
Yeah.
bottom tip.
We
It
think-
is-
we
it
act
is
like
beautiful.
everyone's
Chris
from San Diego.
Chris Muller lives there.
Yes, I
Chris
see him
Muller
driving.
lives there. Yeah.
I don't think he
Lots
knows I live there.
I don't think of any other bike riders living there. So, but thank you for driving down.
Easy.
Next podcast is maybe Jeff Z, maybe Tyler,
Michael
maybe
Mogajone's
Michael
story
Mogajon.
of coming to America is amazing.
I bet
Yeah,
that
was
one's
good.
fun. I
Yeah.
think people would really like to listen
Yeah,
to
we
that.
can do that one.
I'm
So
interested.
yeah, we got plenty more.
Let
to
us know
come.
in the
So,
comments if you made it this
Let's
far.
get
Which I'm
Tyler on here, man.
Hell yeah.
Tyler, yeah,
Devin, you're the man, dude. Respect
sir.
on every
You
level.
as well.
yeah, of
You're
course.
the man.
Thank you, boys.
Hell yeah. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Dales. Much love. Peace.
Thank you.